There's so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too. They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they pledge you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And this week, we are wrapping up the 1980s and venturing...
For now, for one of 10 times we're going to. I know it, Matt. You can't lie to me.
This is the big one, Sam. This is the one where we're, officially finishing up the 80s. Yes, we will dip a toe back into the past from time to time as we watch things that we've missed or just revisit things. But this is us planting a flag in January 1990 and saying, we're here.
We're not going to have to go back and start a new series that started in the late 80s.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We don't have this weird back and forth thing like we had with Ghost of Fafner Hall for a while. We are solidly moving forward with the occasional little, ooh, what was that happening?
Okay. We were just in the 80s for way too long.
Oh, I've got some stats for you, Sam, because dear God, were we in the 80s forever. But yeah, this week we are here because we watched 4 more episodes of Muppet Babies Season 7 called Babes in Troyland, Puss in Boots and Babies, The Muppet of Invention, and A Punchline to the Tummy.
Oh, reprehensible show. Evil, evil show.
We also watched a couple of Disney Christmas things because we are in December of 1989. Perfectly timed, definitely on purpose for this Christmas in July themed episode.
That's why there's jingle bells over the intro music.
Yeah. Sam redid an entire new intro song for this episode to celebrate our special Christmas in July. And whoa, what's that? Here comes Santa Claus.
What's that? I hear footsteps on the roof. What do you say at Christmas? I don't remember how to do Christmas right now.
Uh-oh, he slipped and fell, Sam. Looks like you're the Santa now.
No. I wouldn't want that to happen to me. I think you would be good at having that happen to you.
If I was a Santa, you're way more Santa-coded than I am.
But I think you would go up to the North Pole, you'd see all their systems and stuff like that, and you'd talk to that little mean elf, and you'd be like...
Bernard?
Yeah, you'd talk to Bernard, and and Bernard was, like, pissed at Tim Allen. Bernard would be like, this guy fucking rules. Dear
Calvin
Diary,
who?
we've got a great new Santa. Don't you think you just get on so well with that version of the elves?
Yeah, but I feel like I'd ruin Christmas. I feel like I'd be a good co-elf.
You give everybody batteries or something. It's like,
yeah, everyone needs batteries, Sam.
Oh, you'd be a good Bernard, so you would have to get there.
Yeah.
You'd have to kill Bernard.
Yeah, I gotta push Bernard off a roof, and then they're all just watching me like, "That's not how this works.
That's not how this part.
There's not the Bernard clause on this business card.
Like, we don't know what." Do they? No, we can't get into it. It's Christmas in July. We can't. Do they ever explain in any of the movies why? Why when you kill Santa you become him? Or
It's
is it
Santa
putting the hat on?
Claus?
Is it like putting on? Yeah, but why does the person responsible for ending his life get to become him? Wouldn't that be the last person you would want? And wouldn't it set up
right?
like,
Presumably, that's not a great person.
Yeah,
It's someone who has murdered Santa.
And wouldn't it set up a situation where, like, all of the best assassins in the world were trying to kill? Like, you become Santa and suddenly you have a target on your back and John Wick is after your ass.
I was going to say, I think you've just invented Santa Wick, and I do want to watch that.
It does seem like maybe like in 20 years, someone will reboot the Santa Claus and it'll be like the dark, like the dark Santa Claus. Or it'll be like,
oh, that's
50
definitely
years
happened
later.
a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they just did,
right.
What's his face? J. Jonah Jameson was just Santa.
Oh, yeah. And then there's also Violent Night where
They got a bunch of Dark Santa movies.
Hopper was Santa. Well, yeah, but I mean specifically. Well, anyway, it's like it would be like it's like kind of like Fortnite or something, where it's like everybody's after like the person who
Santa Royale.
Yes, exactly. We got to make this happen.
Santa's got to be public domain. I think we're fine.
Well, and I think Disney and whoever the hell makes Fortnite are like linked, so they could do. Everybody plays. Oh my gosh! Everybody plays Tim Allen, and it's Fortnite Christmas special. Everybody plays Tim Allen. Whoever and one person. This is actually a really good idea. One person.
It's becoming a little bit more Ready Player One than I expected. Are we? You're playing the actual game Fortnite. We're not like real life assassins.
Yes. No. You're playing Fortnite. At the beginning, one person is randomly assigned to be Santa. They have lots of powers. They can jump around. They can do something. They can't shoot though. They cannot commit violence as Santa. And then you have to try to be Santa as long as you can. And if you kill Santa, then you become Santa, maybe slowly somehow. Like you have like 2 minutes to like get yourself all prepared while you're slowly morphing into him. I think
tell your family,
call your divorce,
next of kin.
Yeah.
Be like, I'm so sorry. I have about a minute and a half. I am about to be Santa.
I can't explain.
I'm so sorry. So it's like War Games meets Ready Player One meets John Wick meets the Santa Claus.
I mean, I think it's really just a special mode of Fortnite where I think they kind of did this with there's like a Thanos mode where somebody would become Thanos and have like, but then you could kill him and get the gauntlet and you'd become Thanos. Except it makes more sense with Santa.
Of course it does.
Of all the times I want Disney to be listening to this podcast right now.
Not anything we've ever said about Muppets.
No.
It's specifically when we talk about the Santa Claus.
This is the best idea I've ever had in my life. Okay, so that's our Christmas in July segment of the episode.
We did it. Check. We will come back to Christmas a little bit.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I did want to quickly apologize to those people who listen to our show weekly because we've had a wonky schedule recently.
Yeah, sorry.
Sam and I have just been extremely busy, and we didn't entirely plan to only release 4 episodes over the last 2 months, but that's what happened.
When you're almost 40, it's hard to do a podcast. That's why our dads didn't do
It's hard to do anything.
It is hard to do. It's hard to do anything. Time feels like it just starts to go by faster and faster.
We're dying. We're old men.
We're documenting our own decay on this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it. You know, you're all talking about it on Reddit.
Yeah, Sam and Matt sound like death warmed over. I heard Sam's death rattle at the end of the last episode, etc.
He didn't edit it out for some reason. He just let it go for 15 minutes while he moaned.
I do usually. I run a filter over for death rattles.
But I hate to do this to you, Sam. You mentioned how long we've been in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like we do need to discuss the 1980s and specifically the year 1989, obviously. But yeah, our first episode covering 1980.
Can I guess?
Go for it.
What year do we start? Let me just set a baseline.
We started in March of 2021.
February 2024. Oh, don't laugh like that. Don't laugh like that.
May of 2022.
How is this even possible? I mean,
a lot of shit happened in the 80s, including all of Fraggle Rock, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, Muppet Babies is now happening to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just a lot happened in the 80s because that was episode 57 of this podcast.
What the fuck? And we're on like 219 right now?
Yeah, I think this is 218 or 219. Over 4 years ago is when we started talking about the 1980s.
That's so wild.
Even worse than that, Sam. You want to guess when our first episode discussing 1989 was?
Oh, this I feel like I've looked up before. And it was like the end of 2024, maybe?
Oh, no. Not that bad, actually.
It's not that bad? Okay.
No. It's June of 2025, which means we have been talking about the year 1989 for over a year.
That doesn't bode well for us.
There's a very good reason, though, Sam.
Yeah, right.
The episode that kicked off 1989 was our Big Bird in Japan episode.
Oh.
And that was the last episode we recorded before my daughter was born.
Okay.
So
if
we
you
took some time off. Yeah. So we took a bunch of time off. When I came back, we recorded a bunch of different episodes that weren't moving our timeline forward.
That's right.
And so it sounds like we took longer than a year to talk about a year, but in actuality, we were not consistently talking about 1989 over the past year.
Okay.
But it did take us longer to get through 1989 than it did for us to get from 1955 to 1980. And the only good news I have for you, Sam, is that we are now 85% of the way through Muppet Babies.
I do think I can coast on. They've changed the formula up enough, I feel like, that. I mean, we got fucking Statler and Waldorf in the mix now. And I'm going to spend so long figuring out why they're there and why Bean Bunny's there that I think I can get through the rest of it pretty easily.
Yeah, we only have 16 episodes of Muppet Babies left to watch.
So we have like 5 episodes left talking about Muppet Babies?
We have 6 more episodes after this one talking about Muppet Babies.
Okay.
And right now, it should be in around November, December. Like getting close to the end of the year is when we'll be wrapping up Muppet Babies.
But there are some breaks from non-Muppet Baby stuff in there.
Because Muppet Babies takes this break where they are now beginning of 1990. We are watching these episodes. We get almost all of 1990, which there's a lot of stuff happening in the world of the Muppets in 1990, good and bad. And then we'll come back in the fall of 1990 to dive into the rest of season 7 of Muppet Babies.
Got it. Okay.
But along the way, you and I can look forward to this, and the audience can look forward to us watching The Witches, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Muppets at Walt Disney World, Mother Goose Stories. Our birthday episode will be before Muppet Babies, and obviously Jim Henson's memorial service, which will not be an upbeat, fun episode, but
like you said, for good and bad reasons.
In the fall as well.
We have some variety coming.
Yes.
When does Dinosaurs start?
1991, I believe.
We're coming into the years when I was a conscious person.
Yeah, I feel like I was too young to remember the death of Jim Henson happening, but I do have very clear memories of watching Dinosaurs. So, that's my childhood tentpole moments.
I think because my parents were so sad about it, I do remember. And because they liked Muppets Go to Disney World so much, I think that was when I was like, whoa, this guy. And then that was so soon before he died.
Yeah.
That I'm pretty sure I remember them telling me about it. Them and Ernest. Those are some of my earlier. Well, Ernest didn't die that long ago, right?
No, he died way more recently. Jim Varney died in 2000. So if your first 2 memories in your life were from 1990 and the year 2000.
When 2 different guys named Jim died. Those are my.
That's all of Sam's childhood memories are when men named Jim died.
I also remember learning that Fred Gwynn died, and that was sad for me for some reason.
I remember that too, but I also feel like that was later. Oh, it was 93. Okay, see, I remember that one. I feel like John Candy is my first real celebrity death that I remember reacting to, and that was 1994. But we're not here just to talk about celebrity deaths. We are here to talk about a little show called Muppet Babies. And to do that, I have one job, and that is to ask Sam, what do we watch this week?
First, we watched Babes in Troyland, air date December 23rd, 1989. The babies watch a video on Greek myths and pretend to be in them, including the story of Icarus, Pandora, and Helen of Troy. And that's really all. That's really all you can say about that one. I would say.
You might think Sam is skipping over a lot. He's not, because this episode has no story whatsoever.
Then we watched the Walt Disney World Christmas Day Parade, air date Christmas Day 1989. I don't know if this was a thing that I don't think they still do this, do they?
They do a version of this that's pre-taped. I don't think they do a live Christmas Day Parade.
Was it something they even did more than one time?
I think so. I think this was a thing for a while.
Because this looms like this happening looms large in my childhood memory of the holidays, like the soldiers like walking down the street and stuff.
Yeah, well, and I think using it like they do as a promotional tool for upcoming rides, attractions, movies, etc., was too powerful for them, and so I think they always use it in that same way. I think now it is more of a polished pre-recorded, more
Right.
musical performance kind of thing.
Yeah. You don't have Alan Thicke completely zonked out of his mind.
No, you do not. For many reasons.
Is he dead?
He is dead.
Oh, okay.
That's the biggest reason I'm going to say.
Okay. But this is like Disney sort of riding on the Thanksgiving Day parade coattails and broadcasting their Christmas parade that they would have on Main Street USA in the Magic Kingdom. And the stars are all out, from the aforementioned Alan Thicke to Regis Philbin, and of course, Kermit the Frog is there too. Kermit first appears to tell Regis that he and the Muppets will be moving to Disney World to put on shows and to make movies, something that I'm sure we will be talking about a ton in the next few months as we move towards both Muppets Go to Walt Disney World and Jim's death. Later on, Kermit does a musical number from MGM Studios, riding in a sleigh with some 90s babes and singing the song Sleigh Ride. Then Kermit interviews some kids about what Santa looks like. And these kids are wearing winter clothes, I will point out, but it was probably like 75 degrees there. And that poor kid had to wear like a wool hat. But maybe we can figure out.
They want them to feel Christmassy, but they are in Florida, so it can only be so cold in December.
Yeah. Kids got like they all have coats on and stuff. Poor kids. Finally, Kermit appears alongside the other celebrity hosts to say goodbye and wish us all a Merry Christmas. Next, we watched a segment from the Disney Christmas special, A Different Thing, which aired later that same day, I assume. I didn't look up what this was.
Yes. So this was a show that aired in England, actually. This was an ITV special, which is why you hear that British guy introducing it at the beginning.
Oh, well, I thought that was just because she was going to a fancy castle, but that makes sense.
Nope. There's a surprising lack of information about this special out there other than it existed. So we get a small window into it, but as far as I can tell, it is just a Disney Christmas special that aired on ITV, featuring a lot of different musical performances and appearances from different celebrities.
Bunch of British guys, probably, huh?
Yeah, probably a lot of names that we would have zero reaction to. The presenter was Chris Tarrant.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hold for applause.
Well, I can hear him all the way from England clapping for Chris. This segment stars Miss Piggy, who goes to a castle for a ball, but nobody will dance with her. Even Mickey and Minnie, who are there, will not give her the time of day. So Miss Piggy starts singing "Someday My Prince Will Come," and then just people just start dancing with her for some reason. Finally, she approaches the prince who's hosting the ball and gives him a kiss, and he turns from a man with beautiful sideburns to Kermit the Frog.
They are quite the sideburns.
They're
very
crazy.
Intense.
And he just sits perfectly stock still, like it could just be a photo of him the entire time. Then we fell into a deep Muppet Baby hole. First, we watched Puss in Boots and Babies, air date December 30th, 1989. Nanny brings over Officer Carruthers' kitten for the babies to play with, and play with her they do. And also Bean Bunny's there. The cat disappears and they pretend to be detectives. They go on safari to try to find her. She's up on a shelf, so they pretend to be firefighters to get her down. They think her purring is her like having a stomach ache or being sick, so they take her to the hospital. And then they all fall asleep because they played so hard all day. Next, The Muppet of Invention, air date January 6, 1990. Uncles Statler and Waldorf come over to use the Muppet Babies TV. Wow, can't they watch TV with Nanny and Nanny's?
There's at least one other TV in that house.
Nanny doesn't want to spend much time with them, I feel like, though. Statler and Waldorf talk about how lucky the babies are to have TV and how when they were little, nothing was invented, which introduces the concept of inventions to the babies, who then imagine inventing lots of stuff. Most of the baby's inventions are stupid, but Scooter is actually trying to invent something, which he does in the end with the invention of comedy knee pads, which are surprisingly functional knee pads that are made out of whoopee cushions. Now, okay, does Scooter fall down a lot always?
I don't think so.
I feel like I have like a Mandela effect or whatever of him falling a lot.
I think this season he's been falling more, and I think if you take a drink every time a baby falls over in this episode specifically, you will be extremely drunk because true. Gonzo falls and breaks Rolf's thing. Yeah. Fozzie falls at one point.
Times, I think.
Yeah, Piggy falls a couple of times. For some reason in this episode, when they needed to move the plot along, they were like, I don't know, the baby
Let's hurt
falls.
one of the babies.
Yeah.
Finally, we watched A Punchline to the Tummy. I didn't write the air date down on this one.
January 13th, 1990.
Thank you, Matt, as always. Fozzie is once again trying to be funny, and he starts recording his jokes so he can work on his timing. Unfortunately, his recording also picks up the other babies seemingly saying really mean things about him. So he recruits Gonzo to try to help him work on his routine and make him more funny, but the babies keep seeming to say even meaner and meaner stuff about him every time he goes out and tries to make them laugh. So Fozzie channels the pain that their words cause into his art, and he does a roast of all the other babies, which goes over like gangbusters. They love it. Eventually, though, it's revealed that the babies weren't saying mean things about Fozzie. They were saying mean things about Gonzo. They all hate Gonzo, which is totally fine.
Okay.
Which is totally fine. Yeah, Gonzo's just like, of course you all hate me.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
Yeah. And that's really the end of the episode. Gonzo doesn't even say like, oh, he recorded them saying mean things about him behind his back. That's like the worst nightmare of anybody, I would say. But that's where they decide to end the episode. A couple weird endings of episodes in this one, I would say.
Very sudden ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it. That is the transition from 1989 into 1990. My other thing I wanted to bring up for you, Sam, was I looked up the Billboard Hot 100 charts for the last week of December 1989. And so I wanted to throw some songs
Jingle
out there.
Jingle bells, silver bells.
Yeah.
Dashing through the snow.
All the hits.
I guess Jingle Bells is dashing through the snow.
Now that's what I call Christmas. But no, these are the songs that were popular in December of 1989. I'm obviously not going to read all of these because it's 100.
Here Comes Santa Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Damn it, you already knew this list.
Yeah.
You looked it up. But I just want to, give the vibe of what people were listening to on the radio in 1989.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas, little drummer boy.
This has now become Sam names every Christmas song he can think of.
Frosty
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Oh, great one.
Dominic the Donkey.
Oh, yeah. You're going for deep cuts.
Deep cuts. I had to get the ones that you hadn't named yet. But no, the real songs that were popular in December of 1989, we had
Oh Holy Night. What child is this? Just
we
say
didn't
a
start
song.
the fire. I'm trying. We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. Rhythm Nation by Janet Jackson.
Wow.
Pump Up the Jam by Technotronic.
Welcome to the 90s.
Yeah. Don't Know Much by Linda Ronstadt and Aaron Neville.
Oh, that's a newer song than I thought.
Yeah, same. I think that's like when you get to the the end of a decade, some of these things feel
get a
so
little mushed.
80s.
Yep.
And then Technotronic does not feel 80s to me. That is solidly the 90s coming in. You got Free Fallin' by Tom Petty.
Also much older or newer than I thought.
Love Shack by the B-52s.
What the hell? That's from 1989?
Apparently, Sam, that song didn't just wasn't birthed at the beginning of time. It is actually from 1989. Bust a Move by Young MC. Me So Horny by Two Life Crew.
Okay.
Also on this list. But yeah, and it just is a wild list of songs that I feel like some of these I definitely would have predicted were solidly like 1998 songs.
Or like 1979 songs.
Yes.
I feel like this is like a situation where how I've been seeing this more and more. Like people will, I saw this in Backrooms actually, which is kind of not necessarily because it was kind of a period piece, but there's a part where there's a character in an insane asylum in Backrooms, and the music that they're playing in the background is like World War II, like creepy, like Twilight Zone, like Tower of Terror line music, But it's like people who are old people now were young in like the 70s, so the music would be like the Eagles or something,
Yeah.
So this kind of feels like a situation where it's like every good song, and because rock radio, like the thing is like every good song was written in the 70s, and that's all that like hits radio plays. I feel like every good song is from the 70s, and so it surprises me when they're from like in the 90s.
Well, yeah, I think it feels to me like this is a generational shift that's happening where you have, your top songs are either Two Life Crew, Me So Horny,
Mhm.
Technotronic, Pump Up the Jam, or Joe Cocker, Tom Petty, Rod Stewart.
Yes,
Like,
the 70s guys and hip hop,
Yeah.
but then like hip hop and dance music is
Are like
coming.
pushing those guys out.
Yeah,
An interesting time.
it is very
Less interesting is the episode Babes in Troyland, which aired on December 23rd, 1989.
which is about Greek myths. Couldn't get more contemporary than that.
Hey, it is timely for us
It is,
specifically
that's
right
true.
now
Yeah.
because there is the Trojan horse scene in this. And, the Odyssey comes out this week, Sam. Look at us.
You know what? I bet this episode of Muppet Babies will be more accurate than Nolan's Odyssey. Have you seen this shit that people are saying?
Oh,
at
yeah.
all? Oh my god, people are psychopaths.
That's just true. I feel like in most media criticism these days, but
It's funny to see all the people who like actually have read the book or like know anything be like, yeah, Homer wasn't alive back then either, you dumb shit. He didn't know what they looked like.
Right. I saw something where someone was like, oh, Tom Holland, calls Matt Damon dad and not father in this. Like, what was that decision? And Tom Holland was like, well, I wouldn't have said father either. I would have said it's something in Greek. And it's like, well, yeah, that's true.
People are just so mean. Everybody's mean now. When I was a kid, everybody was a mean jock, and now everybody's a mean nerd.
I thought you were going to say when I was a kid, everyone was nice. I'm like, I don't know if that's true.
No,
Sam.
they were mean too, but in a different way that was also horrible.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten less mean. We're just mean in a different way.
Yeah. You gave other people power to be mean.
Yes.
But the other people didn't necessarily lose their power to be mean.
Right.
So you just added more mean people.
Yeah, now we just have both. And we have some people who are mean in both ways.
Oh, I don't like jock nerds. That's scary.
That's what our country's run by.
Jock nerds.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can't get it. This isn't a political podcast, Matt. We're too stupid.
I guess that's one reason why it's not a political podcast. No, because I think, our credibility is probably in the dumpster after we have to say this episode of Muppet Babies opens up with a giant glob of glue dripping down the screen.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I can't say that in the same sentence where I'm trying to like debate tariffs.
Yeah. That's so
we got to stick to one lane, and our lane is Gonzo putting glue on Scooter.
He's gluing feathers to Scooter and Skeeter's arms. Yeah.
Which Skeeter is on board with.
Right.
Skeeter and Gonzo are trying to convince Scooter to let them glue a bunch of feathers to him so that'll give him wings so that he and Skeeter can fly off a ramp they've set up. And he keeps saying, I have an icky feeling about this.
Shut up, nerd. Yeah, I keep saying, yeah.
It's a setup that he kind of half remembers the story of Icarus.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's why I must have had an icky feeling.
That's how remembering stuff works. Fuck you, Muppet Babies.
What's the weirder part to think about this episode in retrospect? They're just doing this.
Yeah, they don't remember that he hasn't even said, oh yeah, I just watched Greek myths. That's like when I decided to just write one sentence about this episode, I was like, or I could write 10 sentences about how Scooter remembered why they're even doing what they're doing in the first place.
Yeah, and Scooter doesn't tell anyone else that he watched a tape about Icarus. So Gonzo and Skeeter just had this idea to glue feathers to each other to fly off a ramp.
If he wanted to do it, then it would make more sense because he'd be like, at least if he didn't totally remember, he'd be like, oh yeah, that's where I got that idea.
Yeah, I feel like I read about this once and it was a really good idea and I remember nothing bad happening.
Skeeter independently came up with the Daedalus's famous invention herself though. They also talk about this shit like it's real the whole time. Do you not feel like that? Like they're like, the Minotaur was the scariest creature to ever walk the earth. You can't say that.
I think they couch it with one of the first things Nanny says is that these are myths. Okay. And she says that like these weren't real. Okay. And then the rest of the episode, they talk about it like it's a history lesson.
Yes, right.
But before we get there was actually something I did like in this episode. During this scene where Skeeter and Gonzo are trying to convince Scooter to put the wings on, we get some fun, ominous cross-cutting.
Yeah.
To like elsewhere in the nursery, Piggy and her doll are having a tea party. And they're just sitting there and she's like, what a peaceful, quiet day. Aren't you so happy, Dolly? And they're doing it in a way that's kind of clever because they're not just being like,
There's
like,
there's a couple times they actually pay something off in these episodes. They do a couple competent things.
But this is maybe the only competent thing that happens in this episode because despite Scooter's icky feeling about it, they do get the wings on him, and he and Skeeter take off and, of course, crash right into Piggy's tea party as their wings fall apart. This part is extremely unclear because most of it is in their imagination sequence. So we don't get to see how this actually went down.
Yeah, because it does give the idea that maybe they did briefly actually fly.
Right.
But
and we don't see them run off of the ramp that seemed like that was there a minute ago in the nursery. And so I don't know if they had like a skateboard that they flew off of or if they just ran and jumped off a ramp, which doesn't do much for your height.
I mean, I would argue that showing how the baby's real life actions influence their imagination and vice versa is the entire point of the show, and maybe would be like the fun thing. I don't know that it ever did used to be, Matt. It didn't ever used to happen that much.
It's been glimmers, and like when it happens, we always like it.
When it happens,
better.
It's great. But how do you forget that? Every episode, it's like they forget, and it's like every episode of Muppet Babies is like the first episode of Muppet Babies that's ever been written.
Well, I feel like my problem though with season 7 is that not only are they forgetting to do that, but they're also just doing so much in the imagination sequences that has no payoff at all in the real world. And you're not even sure what the babies have been doing all day other than just telling each other a story. But like two babies are talking. What are the rest of the babies doing? Doesn't matter.
Especially with this one. But yes, you're right.
Well, Nanny comes in after the large crash, of course. And Scooter's like, hey, Nanny, it was just like that guy Icarus. Remember Icarus? And she's like, it's Icarus, you dumbass. And she lets the other kids know that she and Scooter watched a videotape about Greek myths the other night when he couldn't sleep.
It is always interesting to get glimpses into when just one of the babies does something with Nanny.
What dorky thing did they choose this time?
But that sounds nice, kind of. Like, doesn't the idea of like, I feel like that happened to me, like you can't sleep and then you get to stay up late with your parents and watch TV or like, sounds cozy.
Well, I think we talked about that in the episode where Animal disappeared and the kids were like, where'd he go? And it turned out he was like down the hallway watching TV with Nanny. Yeah. Like I'm sure it's also important for these one-on-one moments to happen when you have a room full of 6 kids yelling and screaming all day.
That you mostly ignore for the entire day,
Yeah, until they break something. Well, Nanny pulls a book about Greek myths off the shelf and starts telling the rest of the kids about Icarus. I wrote in my notes, I can't wait to see what task takes her away from reading to them this week.
This one's even crazier because she's like, can't finish reading this book. I guess I'll put on this tape. Why complicate it so much? They
read 2 pages about Icarus. This is like the second or third time we've sort of understood now what happened with Icarus. Gonzo's imagining himself as Icarus. And the kids are like, all right, well, now we got to hear more. And she says, sorry, kids, I just have too much to do today. And so she bails even earlier than she usually does. And says, why don't you watch the tape that Scooter and I were watching the other night? And confusingly, the tape opens with the Greek god Pan, who looks like Goat Scooter, but has a man's voice for some reason.
Grown-up version of Scooter's voice, even more grown-up than the Scooter from the Muppet Show.
Why?
But he's got Scooter's head. So there's either a cartoon or this is an actor in this world who looks exactly like Scooter and talks exactly like Scooter. and he's the only other character I can think of really besides like animals that is a Muppet who's drawn, who's not like one of the Muppets we already know. Do you know what I mean?
No.
He's like a new Muppet character. Usually when they draw a character in this, it's a human. But this time, they've made him...
I see what... Yeah, okay.
But why?
Because the kids are like, hey, that guy kind of looks like you. But that doesn't really go anywhere other than in these Greek myths, then Scooter gets to play Scooter Pan.
Which he could have done because, if you're... Yeah. He's got a quite distinctive body. I don't think it would be that confusing.
No. But for some reason, they have to set it up in a way where the guy on the tape looks exactly like Scooter, but isn't supposed to be Scooter.
No, as a man's voice, he's a different guy. And and Scooter and Skeeter don't go, what the
Dad?
fuck? Why do we what? There's others like us?
Also, if they're watching a tape of a presenter, why is he dressed like Pan? I feel like if Walt Disney came out and was like dressed like Maleficent, it was like, I'm here to tell you the story of Sleeping Beauty. And it's like, oh,
well, he
all
looked
right,
beautiful,
sir.
first of all.
You could just wear a suit, though.
I'm Maleficent, kids.
Boo. I haven't watched it yet. I assume she's scary.
I haven't watched it yet.
We only made one copy.
He's
got to swap it
taking a
around.
big drag off his cigarette. He's like Krusty the Clown, I guess, in that situation.
That's how he's blowing the smoke to make him even scarier. Watch this, kids.
I got you.
Oh, I'm a dragon. This is the stuff they cut out of that Tom Hanks movie. Well, Goat Scooter is going to tell the kids about Pandora's box, but Scooter decides to pause the tape and tell the story himself. Which,
I guess he does remember.
Yeah, they didn't need to start watching the tape, though, I guess. And he could have been like, let me try and remember everything Nanny told me and we watched the other night. But one character trait throughout this episode is that Scooter keeps messing up all the gods' names. He can't remember them. It's not funny, but he does get it wrong every time.
I mean, that's the only joke in Muppet Babies. Like, literally.
Yeah. Kids say the darndest things.
Yeah. You know what was in production around this time, I think? The storyteller Greek myths.
Oh, absolutely.
He could have been on they could have got him on the screen. Oh, one of the clips is from it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
During the Minotaur segment, there's a clip from Labyrinth and a clip from the Storyteller Greek Myths episode.
You can get Whoopi Goldberg, but you can't get the guy who's playing the storyteller and your new storyteller to just, or use clips from, oh my God. They're so stupid.
Yeah, I guess it was Michael Gambon, by the way, who is the storyteller in the Greek myths. And we will see him eventually. But for now, they keep him off the screen. We don't even get to see the dog. But there's a fun moment where Scooter mentions Prometheus has an argument with the gods. And Skeeter goes, the gods? And Scooter has to explain what gods are to the babies.
What's he say? Like, they're like big guys who are always causing trouble?
Yeah, which was an interesting take on gods. He says they're these big guys and ladies who hung out on Mount Olympus and made a lot of trouble for everybody.
I mean, that's kind of accurate.
So now we're on Mount Olympus with Scooter Pan and Zeus Rolf. Scooter starts to tell the story of Prometheus stealing fire from the gods, but Kermit interrupts him and says, Scooter, this is a kid's show. We can't have fire.
Not true. We've seen them have fire, right? Somebody explodes in one of the later episodes.
That's what I was trying to wonder is like, have we ever seen fire or do they actually have a rule? I mean, I guess if they actually had a rule, they wouldn't even show it in this moment.
Yeah.
But they do show us fire.
Right.
And they also have one kid encourage another kid to jump off of a banister later. So I don't think the show cares that much about being a kid's show.
They glued feathers to their arms. You might have to go to the hospital for that.
Hey, they had paper towel tubes, I think, on their arms. So it's fine.
Okay.
They did jump off of a ramp onto another baby, but that's, I guess, fine. They're squishy. So instead of telling us about fire, Scooter decides to tell the story of Kermetheus, the first fireman. But before he can do too much of that, Pig Dora is here to be Kermetheus' wife, but has to marry Phausius instead. And the gods give them a beautiful box to open as a wedding gift, which of course everyone says, hey, don't open that. It's full of bad stuff. And of course, Piggy opens it and a bunch of monsters and snakes come flying out.
I did think it was really cute that the monsters and snakes turned out to be finger puppets on animals' fingers.
Yeah.
I like that. I like Baby Animal. He seems
Baby
like a
Animal's
good guy.
good. I feel like he's underutilized, though.
He's like the only nice Muppet Baby now, too. He's always kind of like
rational,
helping the other guys or saying like, I'm sorry.
They're
raising him
apologize
well.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like it used to just be a menace and just destroy. He literally ate the nursery in the past.
Yeah.
He hasn't done that in quite a while.
Now he's like emotional support and stuff.
Yeah. He's growing up. He's maturing.
Yeah. He's going to take a big nosedive later in life, though.
I mean, you can't carry that much emotional baggage forever.
That's true. Messed him up.
You're going to have to have a reckoning. Well, the next story on the tape is about the Minotaur, and this is where we see the clips from Labyrinth and the Storyteller Greek Myths, which is, notable because Greek Myths show doesn't debut until December of 1990, and the Minotaur episode doesn't air until December of 1991. So that's 2 years later after this episode.
Oh, wow. Is the Medusa part from that too?
I don't think so. I think the Medusa might be from something else.
She was scary.
It might also be from that same episode, and we haven't seen it yet, so I'm not sure. But in this, we have Gonzo Shutterbuggius, a photographer of the weird, who is sent with his assistant Camilla into the labyrinth to find the Minotaur.
That, I think, was kind of a fun conceit.
Just have him being the photographer of the weird.
Like a ancient Greek reporter who's like trying to find all the weird stuff. I kind of like that.
Well, and I like that he bumps into a bunch of other monsters and like is asking for directions or, hey, have you seen the Minotaur? And they're just fine and normal. Like, here's a Cyclops. And he's like, yeah, no, I haven't seen him. I'll keep an eye out.
No, he said, so I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah.
I also, you can feel that they regret not making Camilla a real character, I feel like, too. She's been
multiple
popping
times
up more
in
and
this
more.
episode. They're like, okay, what if she's just one of the babies?
We'll just swap her in one day. Nobody will notice.
But yeah, after they find a bunch of fun monsters, Gonzo murders a woman.
Yeah, she wasn't doing anything.
Well, I mean, she would have murdered him.
I suppose.
They run into Medusa, who is described by Scooter as having laser eyes that will turn you to stone. I don't remember the laser eyes part.
No, I think that's
Greek
like
myths.
from Castlevania or something.
But Gonzo's going to take a picture of her, which reflects the laser eyes back into Medusa's eyes. She gets turned into stone and falls and shatters.
It's gruesome.
Yeah. And they move on so quickly.
They don't even see it happen. They don't even care.
No, they walk away.
Life is cheap in ancient mythology times.
And to the Muppet Babies. They know they're easily replaceable.
Yeah, they've seen it happen.
But they find the Minotaur, and Gonzo has an idea for how to make the Minotaur happy.
Oh boy, does he.
He's going to dance with him and dress him up like a pretty lady.
And call him Susan.
Yeah. And we get a musical number here called Monster of My Dreams, where Gonzo sings a love song to the Minotaur, who, I gotta say, by the end, sort of comes around on this whole idea.
Yeah, he is into it.
He's like, actually, I do look pretty.
His eyes turn
maybe
into
Susan
hearts.
is fine.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think
you
it
can
does
call
turn
me
out that
Susan.
it is animal the whole time, I suppose, but that doesn't matter. This is weird.
Yeah, it's weird, and like it feels like too deep of a moment for what we're actually doing here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think like in modern, like the concept is more complicated now than they gave thought to back then. Maybe?
Absolutely. I think this was just almost more like a Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd kind of moment in their brains.
Right.
But the way they executed it is actually
romantic.
Romantic and surprisingly deep when you don't think about it in, Baby Gonzo falling in love with a Minotaur kind of thing.
So you think maybe it was supposed to be like when like Shaggy and Scooby would pretend to be barbers to like trick the monster or something like that?
Yeah, I think this is purely just Gonzo trying to calm down a Minotaur, and he's like, well, I guess I'll show him a good time is how I'll calm him down.
Right.
So I'm going to make him a pretty lady and I don't know, woo him. And
it's so weird.
It's very bizarre. And I think it's like they had to cut it off like exactly when they did, because if you went on for even 5 seconds longer, we'd be like, hold on. Okay, there's a lot going on here, actually. This could be something interesting, but we need to move on from it being too interesting. So Nanny comes in and interrupts the dancing sequence.
Yeah.
Piggy asks Nanny for some stories about princesses, and Nanny says, well, she does have a story about Helen of Troy in a contest between 3 goddesses. And this is another part where I wrote down, let's see what they do for a third female character, because they don't have one. So we get kind of a beauty contest. The first goddess is Hera, played by Piggy. The second god is Athena, played by Skeeter. And the third god is supposed to be Aphrodite, played by Scooter Pan.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot about this part. And he's like, I don't want to play a girl again. A callback. He's always playing a girl.
I feel like, though, it's infrequent enough that it's weird to do a callback. Like, he's done it maybe a handful of times over the 7 seasons.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, too. About, like, there's callbacks in the Go Bye-Byes about them saying go bye-bye. And I'm like, do the kids even remember at this point that Baby Animal says go bye-bye?
Well, and it's wild for this show to remember its history sometimes.
Yeah.
And other times to not, like, one episode to the next, to just completely change a character.
Right. And is there any value in remembering your history when your audience is 5?
I mean,
Probably not.
Probably not. But for the future, when podcasters are making a podcast about your show, it would be a little helpful.
Yeah, it would be less confounding to everybody if you wrote something down.
But Scooter says he will not play the girl's part. So Camilla steps in to be Camilla Diety instead. And because Gonzo's the judge, he picks Camilla Diety to win.
Which pisses Piggy right the fuck off. She gets so mad.
Yeah, she says the contest is fixed. And Nanny says, but I'm afraid that's the way it did happen, Piggy. Which is definitely one of the more confusing moments of the episode.
Yeah, the way it did happen.
Because it definitely didn't happen just like that, Nanny.
Right.
1, it's a Greek myth. 2, a chicken won over a pig in a beauty contest picked by an alien weirdo.
And the chicken also is not a real stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Just don't tell your kids Greek myths. I think that's a high school thing.
At the end, say, that's the way it happened.
Yeah. Don't show them a video that says the Minotaur is the scariest monster that ever walked the earth, please.
Well, don't worry, Sam, because Nanny doesn't have to deal with any of that because beep, the buzzing from the dryer goes off, and Nanny once again has to take off to go take care of the laundry.
Finally, a concrete thing. Maybe she's done laundry before. Sometimes it's been the oven, but usually she's just like, or I guess she paid bills once. So yeah, they're getting more specific with it.
But it's every episode now in season 7 pretty much is like, Nanny sits down to read, gotta go, kids. And my favorite thing is how in this and in later episodes, the doorbell rings. The babies are always like, what's that noise? And I'm like, this is not the first time you've heard a doorbell, dog.
They just have bad object permanence, I guess.
Well, Piggy gets mad that Gonzo picked Camilla and chases him into the closet where he locks himself in. So she needs to come up with a plan to get him to open that door.
I did think this was what the episode was finally going to be about.
But you realize we were like 4 minutes from the end.
It's like 3, yeah.
Kermit tries to get her to watch the tape, and she doesn't want to. She says the Greek myths are creepy and weird.
Accurate.
Which, great, marketing for your upcoming series about Greek myths, Jim. But Fozzie turns the tape back on right at the moment the presenter says, and that's how the Greeks tricked the Trojans into opening their gate.
I do think there's something fun about Piggy, like, on the surface being attracted to, like, the glamour and the beauty-related aspects of Greek myths, but then hearing about the military victories and being like, and that's what she's taking away from it, I think is kind of like, adult Piggy would do the same thing, I feel like.
Yeah, but thankfully for Muppet Babies fans, Piggy rewinds the tape at this part to learn how to make a Trojan horse before the kids can learn how the Greeks massacred the Trojans. She just
Spoiler alert for the upcoming
for the Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Piggy would like that part. I think she would also like the part where they killed everybody.
But baby Piggy can't. Instead, she builds a very big Trojan chicken, which she described as very weird. Gonzo will love it. And Gonzo of Troy receives his delivery happily. Once the chicken's inside, Piggy and the others jump out. But Scooter interrupts her to distract her from massacring Gonzo by telling her the story of Helen of Troy. Nanny comes in to continue telling them the story of the Piggy of Troy. And then the episode is over as Skeeter gets annoyed at Piggy, imagining herself as Helen of Troy, the most beautiful woman in the world. And this is one of those strange endings where this is not a point at which your story has wrapped up. Nothing has really happened.
You're in fact starting a brand new one.
You're starting a new story. You're just adding to this list of Greek myths that you've mentioned. And yet you decided, well, we hit 23 minutes. Episode's over.
We can't go back and rearrange the pages we've already written or anything like that.
Yeah, the backspace key is broken on our keyboard. But that is
and
the end of the episode.
Called Babes in Troyland, and the Troy part happens for literally 3 minutes at the end of the episode.
Yeah, there had to be a better name somewhere.
I kind of like that. I think that name's okay. But
well, yeah, but I'm saying that was maybe more accurate to the episode itself.
Yes. That's right. But this is
God
one of those
comes to the nursery or something.
Oh yeah, the gods must be babies. The gods must be babies. There we go.
That's very good.
Yeah, this is one of those fake peril episodes where the cliffhanger is like, "Uh-oh, it's Medusa." It's like, no, it's not. You're not. It's not real.
Well, and it's comparing it to the wild last episode we watched this week.
Mhm.
That is very, very real repercussions to these babies. It is funny to see the contrast of just they kind of read a book and kind of watched a videotape and then just continued doing that even after we left the room. They kick us out and go, we're going to keep doing this. You don't get to watch.
See you guys later, I guess.
But the episode ends with a tag that is, sometimes a go bye-bye. In this case, surprisingly, it is. Because Gonzo's wandering a labyrinth and a fun-looking animated minotaur, presumably drawn by Animal, pops out, takes a picture of Gonzo, scares him off, and says, go bye-bye. Then it's Christmas Day, everyone. We're back to Christmas in July. It's time for the Disney Parks Christmas Day Parade. Kermit pops up like 4 different times throughout this, sometimes not doing a whole lot other than waving goodbye at the end. But we do get some interesting moments with him and Regis and a great musical number.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that the Muppets were here and then Jim died, obviously, and things changed. But now they're kind of like, this is where the Muppets are again now. It took them 40 years or whatever to come back to this place, where I'm so interested to see what it would have really been like if Jim and Frank and all those guys had to go down to Florida, I guess, and do whatever they were going to do. Or is he just being symbolic when he says the Muppets are going to come down here? Or are they going to be hanging out with Ernest making movies at MGM Studios?
They say it a lot. They keep saying Kermit and his friends will be making their home here at MGM Studios. And so I don't know if, maybe the part of the deal was going to be that they were going to produce movies there at the studios. And so presumably Jim would at least live part-time in Florida to be working down there. But obviously that plan did not come to pass. And so the only thing that really gets alluded to here that does happen is some of the live shows with the Muppets and the 3D movie they reference.
Right.
But they do keep saying Disney's going to be the new home of the Muppets. And then Kermit cracks some jokes to Regis about how they've been trying to work with Disney for years, about they wanted to do Sleeping Beauty, but Piggy couldn't keep quiet long enough. And Gonzo was going to be a dwarf in Snow White, but they cut him out. He was going to be a dwarf named Smelly. And this feels meaner than it would because they haven't worked together that much that recently.
I guess
after the Jim Henson hour sort of fizzled out, now I'm like, oh, man, when's the last time you saw Piggy, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's been hanging out with Gonzo a little bit, but yeah, he and Piggy are estranged at this point.
Yeah.
He's just taking shots at her.
But yeah, then we do get a musical number of Kermit singing Sleigh Ride, and it's great. And it's something about this I just really loved. It felt like Kermit was a star. It felt like he was important.
Yeah.
I
agree.
He does get 2 90s babes riding around with him.
He even says at one point, I can't believe I'm riding around in this sleigh with 2 beautiful women. But you're not supposed to say that part.
My favorite thing is, we have this famous frog who feels suddenly like if we're saying there's a real Kermit and a movie Kermit, this feels like the real Jim.
This was old talk show Kermit where he was hitting on the ladies who were on
this feels a bit I don't know, Jim's personality coming through Kermit, which is maybe reading a bit too much into it.
Right.
But we have presumably a man who is here on Christmas Day working at the Disney parks and says the words, "What better way to spend Christmas? A sleigh ride with 2 beautiful girls."
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right, Matt. I guess I didn't really think about it that way. Kermit, what are you getting up to there, bro? Definitely not with Piggy right now.
Later on, Jim's like, "Hey, did you hear what I said when we were in the sleigh? I said you were beautiful."
But also just Hollywood studio, MGM Studios has an immaculate vibe to me. There's something about it where every time I see it, I'm just I want to be there so bad. So yeah, seeing Kermit riding around, and it is easy to picture and then Muppets Go to Disney World mostly takes place, or at least a big part of it does at MGM, at MGM. So yeah, there's just something about it to me that is kind of my version of the Muppets is oh yeah, you could go down there and you could see them, which I guess kind of was part of the plan almost. So it was you could go down there and they'd just be there.
Well, and for a while they had, the Salute to America show where it did feel
do that again.
Every day at noon you could see the Muppets at Disney World.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no... They should have been hanging out the windows around Muppet Vision.
Yeah.
Saying stuff, but... Anyway.
Well, Kermit, as he wraps up Sleigh Ride, he longs for a white Christmas. So, of course, we get the song White Christmas. And we show off the magic of filming at a movie studio when suddenly it is snowing. Everyone's dressed up for winter, including Kermit, who has a lovely top hat and coat outfit that is not that far off from his Bob Cratchit outfit that he'll wear in just a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on in the show, we hear Alan Thicke say that Kermit has the story behind the claws, man.
Alan Thicke he's on one in this.
He even he takes a dig at the amount of kids Joan London has at the end of this.
Yeah, it's like every year there's more and more kids. We get further and further off to the side.
Because it's him and Regis, and he says something about like, "Hey, Reg, you ever notice when Joan brings all of her kids in, there's no room for our kids?" Which is kind of fucked up. Like, that one of the people who's hosting the show gets to bring all their kids in, and Alan Thicke has to be like, "My kids are over there behind the camera."
Yeah, what's going on there? You're right. Yeah. He has kids because one of them sang that song with the naked
Blurred
ladies
lines.
in it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Robin Thicke, man from The Masked Singer now.
Oh, yeah, right.
But Kermit is here to tell us the story behind the claws, man. He's with Santa experts. A group of about a dozen kids. It starts off
rich little brats, probably. That's all I could think.
Why do you think they're rich little brats?
Because they get to spend Christmas at Disney World. They're probably they're probably real kids, huh?
Yeah, I think they're real kids. I think their behavior shows that they are very real kids that were not scripted or
you're right. They're not
planned.
scripted. But like I was thinking about how this came to be, and number one, these are kids who are spending Christmas at Disney World. Brats. Number two.
Wow. That's quite the leap, I think.
I'm wondering I would love to know if they got picked to do this. How, if like a scout, I don't know how they got picked to do this. And they say, did Santa come visit you today? And they say yes, which means that probably they were on property getting presents. So were these kids picked and then also given presents in their room as part of getting picked to be on this? Or like what's going on? Or are they local Floridians? But Disney World's kind of far away. So I don't know.
This is not true, but like Disney World is less of like a locals park than Disneyland is.
Right.
But that is interesting that they are definitely talking to kids who would have had a Christmas morning that morning, but are in Disney World. So yeah interesting. I did look up though, Sam. There was an unusual cold snap during that time.
Okay.
Is apparently Orlando experienced the most historic and severe cold waves on record.
Wow.
The morning of Christmas Eve was 22 degrees in Orlando.
What the hell?
Yeah.
It was 22 degrees?
Yeah.
They're not equipped for that.
Well, I mean, that's why they got their coats.
Santa's magic.
Well, this predictably devolves into chaos as the kids are sort of describing what Santa looks like, but they're mostly just shouting at Kermit, who's wearing a nice white chunky sweater.
Yeah, he looks great.
But then he's asking the kids what they got for Christmas. They all start shouting different things.
He literally can't understand anything they're saying.
No.
I like the way that he says, like, what? to the kids when he's interviewing them.
Well,
which is nice. Like, it's how he does it on Sesame Street, too. He's just kind of like, huh?
Yeah, this is reporter Kermit coming out. And he asked the kids what the reindeers' names are, and they keep naming most of them. And at one point, he sort of tries to feed them a line.
Yeah.
Where he's like, yeah, Charlie the reindeer. And then he goes, Charlie's not one of the reindeer. And I'm like,
but then later on, one of the kids does go, Charlie.
He's like, you said Charlie, so I think Charlie sounds right. And then one of them's like, I got a Barbie. And he's like, Barbie's not a reindeer.
And everybody
we've moved on.
That, yeah. And there's like a kid behind him who just keeps going, Kermit. Kermit.
It's funny, if you see other places in the parade video, this kind of happens with the adults too. Like Regis is interacting with adults along the parade route.
Yeah.
And at one point he's talking about this thing they were doing starting in 1989 that was going to be called like Epcot Person of the Century or whatever. Yeah, it's very Epcot Century, where the plan was, my favorite thing, basically in 1990 they were going to put a thing in Epcot Center where people could go and like vote like on best person of the century. And then the plan was that on January 1st, 2000, Michael Eisner was going to come and announce who had won.
Why call your shot that it's going to be Michael Eisner? First of all.
I mean, also for Disney to plan that they are going to let this happen for 10 years in the parks. There's going to be a voting booth for 10 years. It wound down within a couple of years, I believe. And they didn't say anything about it again. It just disappeared. And they just hoped no one would ever notice.
But I mean, who stays important for 10 years at a time? Between then and then, who would it have been? I mean, it would have been George
I can
W.
tell you,
Bush, or it would have been...
They gave a list of 89 nominees that you could pick from.
Oh, okay.
Some of the nominees included Thomas Edison, Michael Jackson, Lucille Ball, Winston Churchill, Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa.
Okay, so you had to pick from their list.
Yeah, well, there was also a short period of time where you could write in your own nominations.
Oh, man, I wish they had done this all the way through. I want to see who it would have been.
Rumors surrounded the demise of the Person of the Century Award. Many people credit the write-ins by guests, which included themselves, Bugs Bunny, and other people.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they just kind of apparently abandoned it because it was supposed to run for 10 years, which again is absolutely wild. Who do you think it would have been?
Michael Jordan? Like, who would have won?
Well, that's the thing is, like, somebody could by 2000, Michael Jordan would have been getting less votes. But in
there
the
would have
mid-90s,
been a chunk of time in there where he was getting a lot of votes, and you count the whole thing for all 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's really weighted towards the beginning, probably, when people were like, oh, voting booth. And, like, it wasn't like a grimy piece of shit that was, like, behind the, like, Imagination Center or whatever.
Yeah, it was in the Communicore building, the one behind Spaceship Earth, like the one when you come out of Spaceship Earth where there's just like a weird bunch of computer stuff you can touch. Yeah. It was in there.
Wow, I love that kind of thing where you like, I feel like, where you like do something at work, and then by the time you're done playing, you're like, why are we doing this? Let's just not do it.
It doesn't feel like what we said we were doing, but okay. But yeah, apparently after just more than a year, the machines were unceremoniously removed from Communicore.
Aw, come on. Try again. Mr. Trump would win for absolutely sure if they did it again.
Mr. Trump. That's the worst thing you've ever said in this podcast. Well, this parade wraps up with, if I was Jim, I'd probably be a little annoyed because they have Kermit come into the room with Regis and Alan Thicke and Joan London and all of her 20 children. Kids. Yeah. And Kermit just gets to wave goodbye. And I'm like, man, that feels like a waste of Jim's time.
I mean, Joan London does say, and let's not forget Kermit, which is nice.
But he's been shuffling around this park all day, Sam. This is live. Like, they're having to ship him around this park.
Yeah.
From Magic Kingdom over to MGM Studios.
Well, the MGM part is pre-taped, I think.
Oh, you think so?
Uh-huh, because, it's got to be, right?
Well, it's lip-synced at least.
It's lip-synced. They do a dissolve to the... I mean, I guess they could have two Kermits who are... I'm pretty sure it's a pre-taped segment.
I guess, they're not going to dress him in his Bob Cratchit outfit.
Yeah, but he's still... It's cold as fuck. He's in Florida.
Yeah. Well, I guess also the parade, I believe, only happens at Magic Kingdom. So
yes,
the live parts don't need to happen at other parks.
Right.
Interesting. All right. I was imagining this like, all right, Regis wraps up with Kermit. He's got 45 minutes to get over to MGM Studios.
Get Kermit on
go,
that
go,
boat.
Go, 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 go.
Get over there. Yeah.
But the less fun real version is probably just they pre-taped everything. Well, speaking of the weird pre-taped things, we also had on Christmas Day 1989 the Disney Christmas Special, the one we talked about already from the ITV. We only get to see 4 minutes of it. It is a royal ball. Miss Piggy arrives on a horse and carriage. Minnie and Mickey are in there getting all the attention. And so in order to fight for attention...
Oh, that's what was happening.
Yeah.
I didn't quite pick that up.
Piggy walks in and is kind of like, hello, everyone. And no one wants to really talk to her or acknowledge her because Minnie and Mickey are there.
It just didn't occur to me that it was because of them. I guess I read that. Yeah, you're right.
I guess, they get like a grand entrance where everyone's like lining up to see them. Right. As Piggy's just like, hey, I am also here.
Right.
But we get a beautiful rendition of Frank Oz performing Someday My Prince Will Come.
Yeah. It's nice to hear Frank sing just really belt one out again.
Well, and I feel like this is not a thing that a lot of Muppet fans have probably watched.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't seen this before, I encourage you to go watch Miss Piggy sing Someday My Prince Will Come because it's rather good.
That part of it is great. I think it was a little aimless other than that part. Like, it was a little bit like she's just kind of standing there for a long time.
Well, if nothing else happens before or after this, I'm not sure how much the Muppets are throughout this thing. I don't think very much. I think this is very much like short little vignettes.
Right.
But it is a weird use of them. But I'm glad it led to the song. But the clip does end immediately after the prince turns into Kermit. Kermit says, "Gee, what happened?" And it gets cut off. So if there's anything after that, we don't know about it.
Graphic sex scene.
That's why they had to cut it off on YouTube. YouTube was censored it. Well, the next thing we watched was from December 30th, 1989, Puss in Boots and Babies. It's not like traditionally Puss and Boots, right?
Isn't it Puss
in
Boots? Isn't that what it is in the show, though?
No, in the title, it's Puss in Boots, like N apostrophe.
Puss in Boots.
But you wouldn't say...
Puss in Boots. It's not
traditionally, it's Puss in the Boots.
It's not Puss and Boots.
Correct.
Wait, is it?
No. Traditionally, it is Puss in the Boots because he's wearing the boots. He's not just next to Boots.
Right. Confirmed. I'm looking at it now.
I see a cat wearing boots.
I'm looking at Antonio Banderas. He's in boots. And the movie is called Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots and Babies.
Yes.
They fucked up.
No, they are trying to just use it to be
two different contractions
instead of an in.
Yeah. And there's not even any boots. They're not booting the whole thing. Maybe when they turn to firefighters, there's some boots.
And it's only called Puss in Boots because there's a cat in it.
Yeah.
Which Sam didn't mention is a real live cat.
Is a real cat. Well, I thought we'd get to that at this point.
It's important.
They could have called this one The Cats in the Cradle. How about that?
There we go. Look at it. I like this new renaming the episodes to something much, much better.
I think I would have just absolutely kicked ass producing this show. I think I could have made Muppet Babies really good.
Well, unfortunately for you, Hank Soroyan, who wrote this episode, is in charge, and not you, a 2-year-old baby.
Oh, is he the guy? Wait, and he's not the guy who wrote the first bunch of them.
No, he's the guy who took over from that guy.
I'm going to say this episode's competent. I was proud of him, but no, I take it. Yeah.
Yeah. In this, we have the episode opening up with Scooter and Fozzie playing checkers. Bean Bunny's here wearing a black sweater.
He's kind of in goth
reason.
Mode today. I don't know why.
His eyes look better, but his outfit looks worse.
Who colors their... Like, you can't make a cartoon character shirt black like that.
It does look bad.
It's weird.
Like, there's a reason, Spider-Man is blue in the comics and Batman is blue in the comics. It's not because they're actually supposed to be blue. They're supposed to be black, but
just
blue
don't look so
is
good.
the highlight on the black to show it off. This, they just decided, fuck it, dump the black ink out. It's just a solid black spot in the middle of the animation.
It's so weird.
I feel like Bean's going to look different every single time we see him. Like, they're just going to keep tweaking and, like, renewing Bean's style.
Yeah, they did such a bad job drawing him the first time that they got to keep figuring it out.
Yeah. But he is playing with Skeeter and Piggy. Kermit and Gonzo are making paper airplanes. One flies surprisingly well across the nursery, and we see them imagining it as a space shuttle landing. Nanny comes in, and the kids reveal to her that Bean Bunny apparently just showed up to play without her knowledge.
She should know that. Unless he's like a wild animal, which something happens later in the episode that does maybe lead me to believe he is a wild animal.
Yeah. We'll get there. But we don't learn where he came from or who dropped him off.
Yeah.
If he even has a home. I mean, Piggy says in this moment, he can stay, can't he? Which leads more credence to him being a wild animal.
Yeah, Nanny kicks him out at the end of every night. Like Fred Flintstone kicks out that cat. Not Dino.
Dino gets locked out?
No. Fred Flintstone.
I thought he throws them both out.
No. Dino's a dog. He's got to stay in. Cats go out at night. What's that cat's name? Baby Puss? Something like that. He kicks their saber-tooth
Baby
tiger
Puss
out.
in Boots and Babies.
Guest starring the Flintstones saber-tooth tiger. Yeah, he kicks the cat out, and then the cat goes back in. Whoop, and then
it's called Baby Puss. That is the name.
And then he goes, Wilma. I think
impression.
I think it's.
They forgot to put the exclamation point in the script this time, and Sam just. I think the line is, Wilma, please let me in.
What's my motivation here?
Knock knock.
I think George Jetson's the one who's having troubles with his dog on the treadmill. And he says, Jane, stop this crazy thing.
Jane, help. Jane, help me, Jane. Help. Jane, help me. Help. Elroy,
help me, Jane is so much more fraught than Jane, stop this crazy thing.
Yeah.
Help me, Jane.
Jane, help me, please. Jane. We have to do something about this dog. He's a menace. That's what we need, like I don't know, Liam Neeson playing very serious roles
Playing
of
George,
cartoon characters.
playing Fred.
Yeah.
A crossover movie where they're related and they're both a split screen Liam Neeson.
Well, if you had your best idea earlier, I think maybe this is one of your worst. I just gotta say, put that out there. Well, Nanny says she has a surprise for the kids that isn't Bean Bunny. The kids all start yelling at each other, much like kids at the Christmas parade. But Kermit very quickly dials it down this time and insists that they do this one at a time. So we get an imagination sequence where the kids play a version of To Tell the Truth.
That's what I couldn't remember what game show that was.
Yeah, it's a game show where celebrities used to ask people yes or no questions to figure out their secret.
Right.
In this, the panel is made up of the babies trying to guess Nanny's surprise, but really just trying to fill time in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because they kind of just guess a bunch of things that lead to nothing, and Nanny has to go away and reveal her surprise anyways. So Nanny wins the game. She gets to reveal her surprise, and it's a basket. Piggy says, "Aha, I knew it was something you could eat." And Nanny says, "No, it isn't, Piggy. Not all surprises are ones that you can put in your stomach."
There's
and the
a lot
babies
of
say, "They aren't?"
There's a lot of history behind that statement, I feel like. Nanny's like, okay, I've had enough of Piggy. I don't know. Yeah, that's a quite a line.
Not all surprises are ones that you can put in your stomach, Piggy. And then for the kids to be shocked that, what? All of our other surprises are food.
Yeah, maybe if you look at the history of the surprises of the show, she is often cooking them something.
Right. It's like, here's your special lunch I made you.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the surprise is a real live cat who's filmed on a set that is made to look like a corner of the nursery.
Painted like the corner of the nursery. And it made me think so much about how disappointed I am that we didn't get to go in that Muppet shop and see that nursery set.
Yeah. We didn't stage a heist. We didn't bring it home with us. We didn't break it out.
I just tried to look in the window. That's it.
Yeah, didn't work. Too tall.
Too tall.
But Nanny reveals this is not a cat for them to keep. They are once again pet sitting for Officer Carruthers.
Officer Carruthers, who's maybe an animal hoarder. I don't know.
I mean, he had a bird. Now he has a cat.
Did he have a fish?
He had a mouse.
A mouse. Why? It's food for his cat.
He's very lonely.
Yeah. He's got a wife, I think, though. Remember?
I don't remember.
I think Mrs. Carruthers comes over at one point.
Oh, he had to like borrow some sugar or something.
Yeah.
There's a running thing through this episode, which is extremely annoying, where Bean is mad that everyone thinks the cat is cuter than him. And he has to keep like being like, yeah, but I'm pretty cute too, guys.
Yeah. Whereas real Bean, his thing is that he would be so happy to see this cat because he loves to be surrounded by cuteness. He appreciates all the cuteness in the world and wants everything to be cute.
But not this Bean. This Bean is Goth Bean.
Yeah,
he
he's
just
jealous,
wants
evil Bean.
Everyone to think he is the cutest thing in the entire universe. So they chase the cat around the nursery for a bit, and then Piggy dresses her up in a hat so they can have a tea party. Bean once again gets jealous, and for some reason at this point in the episode, is wearing lederhosen.
Why?
We do not see him put on lederhosen. After this, he is not wearing lederhosen again. There is just a scene in the middle of this where Bean is wearing lederhosen.
I didn't really internalize that. What did we miss?
It is not explained. Some part of when everyone else was gathering toys to try and entertain this cat, he was like, I know exactly what will entertain this cat.
The cat's gonna love this.
But no, it is completely unexplained, and it's just a weird moment.
Why is the cat real? Did they just not feel like drawing a cat? Or they decided it'd be fun?
They had to be just thought it would be fun because they've drawn other animals for them to interact with before. So it's not like we don't even know how to draw a cat.
A mouse is not any harder to draw than a cat, I would say.
They had birds. They had a koala bear. Like,
and that was a pretty good drawing of a koala bear.
It was too good, I would say.
Yeah.
That was the early days of Muppet Babies where the animation was better than it is now.
Right.
And they went like a little too detailed on that one.
The animation's kind of janky now, but I do think some of their facial expressions are funner. Like sometimes they draw their mouths a little off model in a really cute way, or they'll
but I miss the earlier days when they would like the purposeful like anime squish face things.
Yes, that's true.
Where it felt like they were making very off model weird choices, but on purpose to show like.
You're right. It
reminded me of like Crayon Shin-Chan, which comparing Muppet Babies to that is wild. But
no, it makes sense though. You're right.
Yeah. Like the style of animation felt more like that, whereas now it feels like there's more mistakes that I notice rather than fun animation.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost not be shocked if like the concept of Crayon Shin-chan at some point along the way was like, make a show about kids, but make it about actual, like, this is what kids are actually like.
Yeah, they talk about poop and show their butt. So while all the other kids are tasked with reassuring Bean that he is in fact cute, they lose the cat once again. But thankfully, Trick Spacey, Private Nose, is on the job. Surprisingly fitting after our Dick Tracy discussion we had in our last episode. But
I don't think Dick Tracy was this kind of detective, personally.
I don't remember much about
Sherlock
him.
Holmes situation.
Yeah, he was also. I remember Dick Tracy being way more fun than this, and like all the fun mobster with their like mutated faces and stuff. This is just kind of a Sherlock noir.
He's being Sherlock Holmes, or like Sam Spade or something like that.
But he's on the case to find the missing kitty. But for some reason along the way, they run into King Kong. And then again, for some reason, Scooter says, "Hey, wait, a cat's an animal, right? You don't search for an animal with a detective. You go on safari." And so now we're in Africa on safari.
I thought it was kind of neat when they walked behind the lamppost and they all came out the other side in safari clothes in Africa or whatever. I thought.
Well, and Gonzo does a thing where he runs backwards and ends up on a comedy stage and gets like tomatoes thrown at him or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, that was accidentally Fozzie's imagination."
That was kind of weird. But
weird, yes, but different.
But different.
At this point with this show, I will take anything different.
Honestly, this episode kind of worked for me because I think when it is just like when they're like encounter. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Scientology thing. But when they're encountering. That's next. Okay.
Oh, that last episode is the Scientologist guy. So
when they are encountering things and trying to figure it out with their imaginations, and it's not like, there's the Cyclops. Then when they're like in the real world, like cats are weird. What about what are we learning about this cat? And they're just kind of like hanging out. I kind of like those episodes a little bit better when they're just like approaching problems with their imagination.
Yeah, I think this episode just has a lot of filler. Like it feels like there's a lot of scenes in this that maybe they thought they would have more footage of the cat than they did.
Right.
And they filmed it. They're like, we got 2 minutes of cat.
Cats
guys.
don't do anything.
What are we going to do with this? We built the tiniest set in the world for it to sit on. We put a hat on it and then we were done? That's not enough. And so there's lots of scenes that I feel like in other episodes would not take as long, where it's just the babies climbing up a ladder on the side of a building takes 30 seconds.
True. Yeah.
As opposed to just like, and now we're on the building.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're on safari. Animal spots the cat up tall on the bookshelf. The babies are going to spring into action as firefighters. And the cat jumps from the bookshelf and is, of course, fine because it's a cat. The cat purrs and the kids think something is wrong. And so they decide to rush her to the hospital. And we get Rolf as a potential Dr. Bob without any of the jokes.
But it's also distinctly not Dr. Bob.
No, yeah. They refer to him as Dr. Rolf, I believe, at one point. And he's only there because, obviously, the dog is the one who knows what purring is.
Animals, which is kind of cute. Mm-hmm. But also, you can't keep getting away with not making him Dr. Bob. Why? No. It just makes it seem like you never watched The Muppet Show.
But the cat realizes, this is a dog, and takes off. And then Bean, in this moment, just really throws us into an existential crisis.
Yeah, he's like, Rolf, are you a dog?
Yeah.
And then he runs away scared too.
So many questions.
But then there's even a weirder part where Bean comes back in and Scooter's like, don't worry, he's not that kind of dog. Mm-hmm. What kind of dog does that mean? A real dog?
Or specifically the dog from the Bunny Picnic movie.
Oh, he's scared of that dog is right. I forgot that was a villain dog.
Yeah. So I think they're thinking, Bean's scared of dogs. For some reason, didn't realize Rolf was a dog, which is a weird part of this. You're like a walking, talking bunny. Right. You didn't realize that a walking, talking dog could be a thing.
And the people who make the show are like, you remember Bean, right? He's afraid of dogs, obviously.
Remember that VHS tape you got 3 years ago?
Well, wait. Yeah. I need to talk to somebody who worked on this show about why Bean is in this show.
He's noticeably no longer wearing lederhosen, by the way, when he's afraid of Rolf. So he ran away and changed sometime. or it's always under his clothes.
Oh yeah. Well, he doesn't wear pants, does he? Usually.
Maybe the shorts are short enough that they're hidden by his large black sweater.
He's got really, really short lederhosen on.
Yeah, Bean Bunny is a never nude that's wearing lederhosen at all times.
He's not that kind of dog. Don't worry. He's not that kind of dog. Haunting words coming from what's already just a completely abstracted version of an already abstracted puppet.
Yeah, that coming after, does that mean you're a dog, Rolf? I'm like, what? Yeah, what? Was that ever a question?
My name's Rolf the dog. He's probably said that in this show.
Well, the cat escapes from the nursery and runs down the hall of the house, but then comes back, because that doesn't matter at all.
Because nothing happened. Nothing matters.
Hides under the couch, and Bean, who is still scared of Rolf, hides in the cushions of the couch. And that's when Scooter explains to Bean that Rolf won't kill him, and he's okay immediately with that. The babies crawl under the couch to find the cat, and Kermit says, "Gee, I wonder if this is what it's like to be a cat." And that leads to our musical number called Kitty Cat, which is very heavily Cats the Musical inspired.
Except not the song is not.
No. But they're dressed just like the cats from Cats.
But wouldn't it have been fun if the song had been inspired by the musical Cats too?
It would have been more fun.
Yeah. Instead of just nothing.
Yeah, this is just nothing. It's a song about don't you wish you were a kitty cat? Simply because they crawl under the couch once. They're like, wow, what's it like to be a cat? I don't know, I'm a dog. It's like, yeah, okay, come on. Probably not that different.
We already talked about that.
Yeah. You might be a dog, but I'm a frog. I am further from a cat than you are, so give me this one. But at the end of the song, the cat is now calmly sitting by the window, and Nanny brings in some of the cat's toys, and the kitty is too tired from her day, so it's time for a cat nap for her and all the babies who fall fast asleep.
And all the babies are asleep as well.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that chapter.
That's the end of that episode. And the tag is Kermit and Bean looking for the cat again. Animal scares them and once again says, go bye-bye.
As I was watching that one, I thought it was fine. That one kind of like was easily
definitely better than the first one.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the strongest review we can give these days from Muppet Babies. That was watchable. Well, next up from January 6th, 1990, we have The Muppet of Invention, written by Sidney McKay and Larry Swerdlove. The babies are playing Rat Trap, a spoof of Mousetrap. And much like real life, they're not actually playing the game.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Is there any game in the entire history of games that's been played more but never correctly than Mousetrap?
I mean, that's got to be number one. Like Dominoes, maybe a second.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
But yeah, no one ever played Mousetrap the way it's supposed to be played.
I couldn't tell you how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know either. There's some sort of roll a dice or spin a thing, move around a board, but much like both Sam and I clearly did when we were kids, Skeeter sets this up and just sets off the Rube Goldberg machine and lets it go. But this is when their fun is interrupted by the doorbell, which they're all confused by. And Nanny brings in Uncle Statler and Uncle Waldorf.
Both uncles confirmed.
Yeah, which I think also confirms that they are not any sort of relation to Nanny.
Yeah.
They are these old men who live nearby and get to be called uncles.
I would love to point out that Waldorf has a goatee in this episode.
Why does he have that, Sam?
It's just a persistent animation error, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's like
his double chin.
Yeah, but instead of just drawing a black line, they filled it in with white. And so he has his normal white mustache, but then he has a very thin, like Guy Fieri, like kind of white line chin strap going on.
Yeah, it's just a phase he went through when he was a little bit younger. Because I was looking at Waldorf and I was like, is there something... I was looking at Statler and I was like, is there something different about you? No, this is just an accident. Like, this is the day... What's that? This is when we all decided to grow. Maybe there's like an episode of... What is that? Aqua Teen Hunger Force or something? Where they're like, remember when we all decided to grow mustaches? Do you remember? There's like a cartoon.
I remember that show existed. I don't remember any of the plot lines.
Or maybe it's like a part of... what's the propane guy? Who is that?
King of the
Hill. Where they all have mustaches for one scene or something. There's some cartoon. But yeah, it would be funny if it was like, we decided to grow mustaches, Nanny. I already had one, so I got a goatee.
Waldorf comes over and he's like waiting for Nanny to say something about his goatee. He's like, hey, you notice anything different about me today?
He's trying to woo her.
Do I look more distinguished? But no, it's actually the most loser reason ever to come over. Their TV broke, and so they're going to come over and watch the baby's TV.
Their TV broke down, according to Nanny.
Yeah, so they need to come
makes
over
it
to
sound
watch.
even more sad. It sounds like a big puff of smoke came out of the top of it or something.
Yeah, the fuse is blue.
Yeah, you can watch TV in the baby room.
Yeah, they're going to watch their favorite old movie here with you kids. I was going to note that Fozzie feels like he did in the early days of this show, again in this episode, where the last couple episodes, Fozzie's barely there. He's not really doing anything. This episode, he's back to babbling nonsense and telling bad jokes.
Yeah.
Mostly just to get heckled by Statler and Waldorf, but it at least felt like the Fozzie that we knew. I was going to say knew and loved, but that part's not true. We're aware of, and didn't feel as weird as when he would just like walk through the background of an episode and it would be like, oh, I guess he doesn't have anything to do this week. But first, Kermit has to teach Statler and Waldorf how to turn on the TV. And as he's helping him, Statler plays a prank on him, telling him there's a large snake behind him, which, for good reasons, scares a frog child.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They can't tell him that. I do like that they have not pulled their punches with Statler and Waldorf and that they are being very mean to the babies.
Yeah. And Kermit doesn't even like laugh it off. He just kind of is like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Statler and Waldorf tell the kids how lucky they are to have television. When we were kids, we didn't have anything.
This is kind of cute.
Yeah, but it is weird. This episode's very, very strange because it just ends up being Statler and Waldorf lying to babies for 20 minutes.
Or Statler and Waldorf actually were born in caveman times.
But they also knew Thomas Edison and Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
There
If
are
you're
a
born in
couple of
caveman
Abe
times, you
Simpsons.
know both of those guys.
So they're born in caveman times and they're like immortal?
Yeah.
Okay.
They did walk so Abe Simpson could run for sure.
Yeah. Well, Scooter imagines them as two old cavemen just saying old man things, which was pretty funny. They just start yelling, to the
Yeah,
canoe
like
and
23
Tyler
Scooter.
too, and
Yeah,
win
that
one
was-
for the Gipper.
That was pretty funny.
And I was
That's
like-
Scooter imagining that?
So that's the thing. It starts off as Scooter being like, wow, you guys are old. And it goes to a caveman thing. But then you learn that it's Statler and Waldorf telling a story of how they invented baseball when they were
Yeah.
cavemen.
I
And you're
thought-
like, I
think it's
don't
true.
know what's happening.
I think it's true. I think they did.
They did invent baseball. They
Yeah.
seem convinced. But then they were talking about how other things got invented because of baseball, like baseball caps and
Yeah,
bleachers. Statler calls it base rock at one
the
point, not
end.
baseball. And that's when you realize, oh, he's telling them this story as if it's real.
Right. And they
not
have been
just
calling
like,
it baseball, I think, otherwise in the thing too, haven't
Mhm. Yeah. But they come out of it and he's like, no, base rock was real.
they?
I was there. So Statler and Waldorf mentioning inventions seems to sort of accidentally spark the idea in the kids' heads that maybe they could invent something too. And
Yeah.
so
Fully
We get-
formed, they know about patent offices. They know that they took
Sam, every child's favorite place to play pretend, the inside of a patent office.
Yeah, and in like the industrial revolution, like the early 1900s.
Yeah. Sometimes you can feel the old timers in the writing room a bit more than you can.
And they're just
Uh,
there so long too, and nothing happens.
It's the rest of the episode pretty much.
Yeah.
Because first up, we get Rolf coming in with a twisting, twiddling, twizzling, turning, twittering, topsy-turving twirlamagig, which we never learn what it's supposed to do.
And it gets sat on like instantly.
Well, we never see what its real-world counterpart is. Like, is Rolf
Oh,
doing
yeah.
something with his piano or with a French horn or something that he's
Mhm.
like trying to pass off as an invention? Who knows? This episode can't decide if it wants to be, hey, let's let the kids have fun inventing weird things, or if it's just in their imaginations, or if it's, hey, Fozzie invented the telescope, which definitely already exists.
Or if it's about Scooter like wanting to take it seriously and try to invent something.
Right. But Gonzo carries Rolf's invention to the back, drops it, and breaks it immediately, and Rolf just gets to be really sad for the rest of the episode.
Whole episode, yeah.
Fozzie Leo comes in. It's like Galileo, kind of. He comes in with a joke telescope that they use to prank Piggy with the ink around the eyeball, like they did to Kermit before.
At least it goes on her flesh this time.
At least it goes on flesh. But this was the moment, like, so quickly they abandon the idea of Rolf invents a weird nonsense thing to Fozzie invents a thing that already exists. Like their second example is just a real thing.
He's not taking it seriously.
But as well as Rolf being sad, the other runner in this episode is Statler and Waldorf continue to tinker with the TV. At one point, speaking of animation mistakes, their voices just fully switch bodies.
Just swap completely, yeah. It's confusing, I suppose.
So Scooter brings in a giant stack of papers, which are all of his different inventions that people really need.
And this is real. He really does have this giant stack.
Yeah, but his friend Gonzo says, "Pah! The real challenge is to invent stuff that people would never need in a million years."
Yeah, he's taking the easy way out. It's easy to invent things people need.
Except, Sam, what does this lead to?
A song?
A song where Gonzo sings about a bunch of weird inventions that he made that he knows for sure people will use in the future.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like, they're nonsensical inventions, but the idea is that the song is called Knows for the Future because Gonzo can see forward and go like, yeah, you might think this is nonsense now, but someday they're going to fucking love this
He's
thing.
a visionary. He's a Elon Musk type.
Yeah, that feels like a fair comparison.
Scooter would invest in Elon Musk, but Gonzo would found a ridiculous tech company.
Yeah, and not actually invent anything himself.
Walk around like squirting water out of a flower onto people's faces and and like blabber in meetings.
I invented a flamethrower. Cool, Gonzo.
You
Good
would
job.
do that.
I dug a giant hole under Vegas. Awesome. Good job. Proud of you, I guess.
Yeah, when the spaceships explode, he's just like,
that's exactly what I wanted to happen.
I meant to do that, yeah.
But yeah, throughout that whole song, Scooter and Fozzie are just confused the whole time. And the song ends with them going, "Oh, well, see ya." And they walk away.
Well, that's what I thought too. I paid very little attention to this episode.
Yeah. Well, throughout, Rolf's invention continues to fall apart. Kermit shows up having invented a musical coat for Rolf, which seems kind of out of character, but whatever.
Yeah.
Piggy tries it on, and they basically just poke and
her
prod her for a few minutes to make some music.
Too long. Yeah, piss her off.
Yeah, I guess that could have led to a song that maybe would have made more sense.
That would have been, yeah, that could have. You're right. But yeah, like Rolf puts it on and he does like a one-man band thing. That could have been fun.
I know how to use this.
Yeah. Can Rolf play other instruments?
We've definitely seen him rock out on guitar on this show.
He's played guitar. That's
in his
true.
imagination, he can play other instruments. In real life, I don't know.
He does seem like a guy who would be like one of those multi-instrumentalists, like can just pick it up and play it kind of guys.
I mean, he's been a musician for 30 plus years. You got to imagine.
Yeah.
Well, after that, Piggy, back in the real life, runs into Fozzie and Scooter, who have stolen her doll's crib to invent a nanny-less crib for when babies want to drink of water in the middle of the night but don't want to wake up Nanny. So Piggy crams herself into the crib to try it out and ends up dumping a giant bucket of water all over herself. Or as she reports it to Kermit, "My dolly's crib tried to drown me."
Why in that part? So when she chases Scooter and Fozzie, and I only mention this because of what happens at the end, but Scooter falls down and says, "Oh, my knee."
Yeah.
When he falls down.
He does.
Like, weird thing to say. They actually pay it off later for the first time in Muppet Babies history.
Yes,
they pay
it does
something
seem in the
off.
moment just like, though, like, that's concerning that babies actually might have an injury.
Yeah. But then when she's telling Kermit about that, when she walks away, Kermit says, "I think this is how teddy bears were invented." Why does he say that?
He says, I think that's when the stuffed teddy bear was invented. Because I think...
She's going to kill Fozzie?
No, I think it's a bad reference because she says she needs a towel. And
okay.
I think it's something about they invented stuffed teddy bears because they'd be absorbent and also a toy.
I think that they accidentally changed the line about the crib trying to drown her from Fozzie tried to drown me. And that was too gruesome or something. But they forgot to change the line because then later Kermit walks up, like the next scene, Kermit walks up to Cooter. Kermit walks up.
Keeter and Cooter.
Yeah. To Scooter and Fozzie, and he's like, "I think you should show me your inventions for a while," and not
right.
So he has been given the information that they invented this, but we don't see that happen. You know
That's a good point. Yeah, like he's very aware that Fozzie messed up.
Yeah.
It is worth noting, Skeeter is just kind of not around throughout this episode.
This isn't the kind of thing she's interested in.
But what is she doing? She shows up at the end, but throughout all of this, like since she set off the mousetrap, she has not done anything in this episode.
Maybe she's outside. She's throwing a ball around.
Fozzie and Scooter, who are extremely prolific throughout this episode, have now invented a toy picker-upper, which is a giant magnet in a drawer. And Scooter put magnets on all the toys so that this giant magnet will just pull all their toys from across the whole nursery into the drawers. But because Scooter is so good at this, Statler and Waldorf are like, hey,
This
you
kid's
remind
got
us
something.
of little Tommy Edison. Someone who they talk as if they personally knew.
When
Thomas
he was
Edison,
a child and they were not children.
presumably, yes. They say
Yeah.
they knew him since he was the same age as Scooter. But then as they're telling Scooter the story of Thomas Edison, somebody I would say Scooter should definitely know about, by the way.
Absolutely. And he, in any other episode, would know.
Thomas Edison's best friend, Benjamin Franklin, played by Fozzie, comes over to show off his bifocals that he
Who I
invented.
believe only refers to himself as Ben.
Yes.
And it leaves you to fill in the blank of who that is.
Yes, because he's dressed like Benjamin Franklin, but they just call him Ben. They don't even try to make a bear pun name here. Quick, let's think of one. A better name. Benjamin Benjamin Franklin.
Frank Bear. Benjamin Frank Bear. If it was
Benjamin-
Gonzo, it would be Weirdjamin. Weirdlin.
It's all- but Benjamin's actually not the worst.
Benjamin. No. It's kind of fun to say.
Benjamin.
Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin.
Oh, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Well, because apparently
Benjamin Frankden.
Frank Den, like D-E-N,
Yeah.
like a bear's den.
Uh-huh.
See, I want to say that's too bad for the show, but I don't actually think it is.
I think
I think
it's
they
too
could-
good for the show.
Yeah, they'd be like, Benjamin Frank Den, my old pal. And they'd only say it once on a terrible quality VHS rip that we watch on YouTube, and we're like, I think they said Benjamin Frankden, but I'll have no idea.
Well, it's funny you say that because there is in the next episode at the Go Bye Bye, they have to say, he said Go Pie Pie.
Yes, but even when they say that, you can barely tell the difference between the two things he says. So yeah, Statler and Waldorf are the worst teachers of all time, lying to these kids, or just, they don't remember anything.
It's also so weird because they tell him this story about this good inventor, and then they're like at the end, they're like, you got to just keep trying. And inspirational Franklin, inspirational Statler and Waldorf is weird. I can't. It's uncanny.
Especially when they've been picking on the kids the whole rest of the time. Like it's
And when
like the
you know
writers
their
remember,
future.
this is maybe kind of mean.
Kids have to trust adults, but everybody does have that uncle who like busts on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot. I feel like looking back on our 90s childhoods, I'm like, that was just mean.
Yeah.
He was just mean all the time.
He just made up a mean nickname for
And
me.
everyone thought it was real funny. Well, Scooter and Fozzie are back at it again. They've invented comedy knee pads, which are just two whoopee cushions on the knees. Piggy fakes an interest in them because she has ulterior motives to kill Fozzie Bear.
They set up two things in this episode that because Scooter scrapes his knees like twice,
Yeah.
and they keep hurting Piggy. So then she's like, "I'm going to get my revenge." This is
That's
the
true.
most. This is the
Competent.
most. Yeah, this is the most like coherent plot line we've ever had in this entire show's history.
Well, that sadly might be true because Piggy says that these knee pads need testing. And so she imagines Fozzie as a crash test dummy, which is actually Piggy tricking Fozzie into jumping off the banister.
Off the banister of that little landing in the playroom,
That's-
which is
that's
pretty
a-
high.
Yeah, that's a good 3 feet. He's just jumping onto his knees.
It's like 3 Fozzies.
Yeah, that's bad news. Fozzie's not going to be okay just because he had 2 whoopee cushions on his knees.
They work great though.
I guess they do laugh and they say they worked great, so we have to believe that he is not
Yeah.
hurt.
Mhm.
But what a weird thing for a show. It's like, we can't show fire. Babies will get ideas to be like, hey, other baby,
If
jump off that
you-
banister because I hate you.
If you tie whoopee cushions to your knees, you will be invincible.
Well, the episode ends quite suddenly as Fozzie pulls out a joy buzzer, shocks Piggy on the hand. She chases him. Statler and Waldorf crack a joke, and we get Kermit turning to camera and saying, "Here we go again. Sheesh." And yeah, that we'll be right back. Animal turns on Gonzo's vacuum shoes, which is a thing I did
Oh,
not
he
mention
invented
earlier.
those, right.
But was another invention that Gonzo had at one point in this episode.
It did feel like they go to the patent office, and then throughout the episode a couple times, it's like Gonzo and we're all for like, remember when we were playing Patent Office? Can we play that again? And the other babies are like,
remember my big musical number? That was a bunch of fun. It's like, yeah, but Scooter's got real ideas now, and I guess we have to encourage him.
We had to do Scooter's thing now.
Yeah. Statler and Waldorf also never get to watch their movie, which is a very weird way to
the TV's
keep them in the nursery.
Yeah. The TV's fucked the whole time.
They just wanted to find some excuse for those guys to come over and be a part of this story for some reason.
And they love to do old Hollywood stuff. There could be an episode where Statler and Waldorf come over and they're like, this is what entertainment was back in our day.
I mean, Sam, the next episode opens up with the kids fighting over watching the TV.
Oh, yeah, and it's all black and white stuff.
So it's like they have, the TV's working now. And also, this is a better, I don't know, excuse for Statler and Waldorf to come in and talk about television stuff.
Let us pick what we're watching. Old guy stuff.
Which Kermit would be stoked about. Kermit is the old man in the group.
Old guy stuff. Biggie kind of does too.
Yeah. Well, this episode that we're alluding to is the January 13th, 1990 episode called A Punchline to the Tummy, written by Jeffrey Scott.
Oh, brother. Actually, this one's not so bad for him, I would say.
Yeah, for him, definitely
There's an actual
not.
plot in this one.
Our old pal Jeff Scott Fitzgerald is back.
I forgot about that. You know what? The creepy thing about the Muppet Babies is that they're babies who have the souls of old vaudevillians inside of them. That is kind of like the thing that just doesn't feel right. Who like old black and white movies and stuff like that.
Well, speaking of things that just don't feel right, we've learned some things about Mr. Jeffrey Scott since the last time we recorded.
Right.
Turns out, which has not been like private information, been public, we just never researched this man. Apparently, he's a proud Scientologist who has proudly talked about inserting L. Ron Hubbard's teachings into the children's shows that he wrote in the 90s and 80s. And he's apparently Mo Howard's grandson.
That is wild. Both was wild, but yeah, that was like the last thing I learned that day when we were reading about that. I was like, what the fuck?
It's in his LinkedIn banner photo. It says Mo Howard's grandson.
Okay. That's kind of cool, actually. He's a Nepo baby. Yeah. That's why a Nepo baby thing pisses me off. There's always been Nepo babies. Come on.
Yeah, without Nepo babies, we wouldn't have Liza Minnelli.
You know who the original Nepo baby was?
Jesus.
Absolutely. My man, JC.
Yeah, I will say, personally, I don't know enough about Scientology to pick up on these things, but there are people out there who have talked about specific episodes where apparently there are things that are very well known to people who know about Scientology that are clearly represented in episodes of Muppet Babies.
I would say the clearest one that when I read that article, there's an article linked. Some of them were kind of like, and admitted by the person writing the article.
Yes.
A stretch.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll try to link the article or something. You can find it on Matt's Blue Sky. But there's one thing where it's like reading through difficult words and like looking them up, I think. Right. And like,
it's like Piggy forgets a word for something. And when she does that, her imagination shuts down and she can't move forward until she remembers or is taught that word again.
Right.
And apparently that has something to do with Scientology.
Yes, and as does some kind of imaginative play or something like that. There was some other aspect of it where it was also kind of like, well, also just kids do this. So
yeah, the article you're referencing was some stretches of like, here's the way Muppet Babies could have been like inspired by Scientology. And like 4 out of the 5 were like, I don't know about that.
Well, but there were like 2 that were like, oh yeah, that seems about right to me.
Well, and having the guy who wrote it say that he did this, like,
absolutely,
he, like admit it. There's at least a layer of it that is there to his episodes, which is.
But then there was another part of it where somebody else who worked on the show said, "Oh yeah, Jeffrey's scripts were like barely recognizable as his scripts by the time we made them."
Yeah,
I don't know if I believe that because I just don't see them like spending that much time polishing each of these scripts, but.
Well, it could be a situation where this is not a comparison that is fair. But so for the first 4 seasons of West Wing, the writer in every episode is Aaron Sorkin.
Right.
But he had a writer's room.
Yeah.
And so episodes were like largely written by Aaron Sorkin, but there were other people contributing ideas and things. And so maybe what they're saying is that Jeffrey Scott's name was on all these scripts, but like a lot of people in the room were actually influencing the direction of them, and they weren't what he. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess the thing I don't know is if they had a writer's room those first few seasons where he was. I guess they must have, but I don't know. I don't know. The show continues to be a mystery, and somebody needs to write a book about Saturday morning television with interviews from people who worked on it, because I'm sure there was all kinds of crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, and I'm sure there is some out there, but I feel like Muppet Babies is not a part of that conversation at the moment, and we got to know more because we got a lot more Muppet Babies still to watch. But this episode opens up with the kids fighting over the TV. Scooter wants to watch Star Trek. Skeeter wants to watch a track and field event. Rolf wants to watch a rock concert. And Kermit wants to watch the rodeo. Animal puts on some cartoons. Piggy changes it to ballet. But we land on Funny Freddy making an appearance on The Tonight Show.
Kind of like the Joker. He's kind of like the Joker.
Yeah, he's about to shoot Johnny Carson in the face.
He's just a kind of creepy clown man on the Saturday night. Or this nighttime TV show, talk show.
Yeah, he's like, you want to know my secret to being funny? Kablamo. Well, he's about to reveal.
That would be a good edit, Matt. Get on it.
Oh, no, because the problem is you're saying it, and I know it would be fun to make.
It would be fun.
But also, The Joker's not really a relevant movie anymore because they made another one and everyone hated it.
That's okay. They still like that seed, and Fozzie would be like, oh, he's about to tell us a secret to be funny.
Well, instead, what happens in this show is that the kids are changing the channel. So Fozzie is very dumb.
He's so stupid.
He doesn't notice they're changing the channel or doesn't pick up on that because he thinks what's happening on the TV is all connected. So as Funny Freddy starts to say his secret to being funny, they change the channel and a commercial says, wash with Brighto soap. They change the channel again and it's a documentary or something saying, storm the castle at daybreak. And the third one is always record on Mupwell tapes. And so, thankfully, even though Fozzie's extremely stupid, the only lesson he actually takes from that is to always record on tape.
I would argue that Funny Freddy also could have said, I record my jokes and work on my timing or something.
Like a real helpful lesson
for
comedians is record your jokes, listen back to them.
Right.
So the fact that he actually took the best lesson out of this is shocking.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a fun moment. The tape commercial ends with a woman singing a high note and shattering a glass. And this is when Nanny walks in and says, did I hear something break? And Fozzie says, oh, that was just some lady screaming on TV.
Fun moment or insane moment? I would argue
fun for
insane
us.
Moment.
Insane in the world of the Muppet Babies.
Yeah. How loud do they have that TV?
I mean, the fact, too, that your baby would just say, that was just some lady screaming on TV. And you're like, no further questions.
TV, and she does go, okay.
So Fozzie asks Nanny to borrow her tape recorder to record his jokes. And he runs and grabs that immediately. He records his joke, takes it over to Gonzo to listen to it. Gonzo immediately is like, whoo, this sucks, dude.
Sucks, bro.
You're so bad at
this.
Another fun moment I liked when Fozzie walks over to Gonzo, he's like cleaning the air.
Oh.
Like he's just scrubbing the air. And Fozzie asks him what he's doing. And he says he's cleaning his imagination because the cows messed it up.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Yeah.
I do think this is an extra unfortunate episode because baby Gonzo is pretty funny in this, and it just makes me feel really bad for baby Fozzie.
Yeah, baby Fozzie's just treated like shit this entire episode. But we get an imagination sequence of Gonzo as a Hollywood agent who gets a phone call from a mustachioed John Ritter, who is calling.
Hey, Gonzo, this is John Ritter.
Well, Gonzo's a very popular agent. He's got a lot of clients. He needs to know right away who's calling him.
Yeah, that's right.
But John Ritter is calling to see if Gonzo had taken his script around town and sold it yet. And Gonzo says, I'm just about to shotgun it around town.
And it's footage of John Ritter.
Yeah, it's real John Ritter.
It's for this, which I think we've only seen like one other time, maybe like a very odd celebrity cameo.
Well, we saw Burt Reynolds that it was from something else. Where
was it?
I think it was from Muppets Go Hollywood or something.
Oh, I thought it was Burt Reynolds
over.
And he was like, Baby Piggy, let's go. I thought it was real, but maybe not.
Regardless, this is definitely the most they've done in one episode
Yeah.
of celebrities recording things specifically for Muppet Babies, because John Ritter gets to do a pratfall as Gonzo explodes the script out the window. And next up, Whoopi Goldberg calls to ask.
When Whoopi popped up, I was shocked.
You're like, wow, they got all the real stars here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Whoopi, I mean, John Ritter was really famous up until he died too.
Mm-hmm.
But Whoopi's like, maybe she's just so popular still, or like so well known still because of her. But it did feel like, oh, that's a real reach. But maybe not at the time. I'm not sure.
Well, she had done The Color Purple.
Yeah.
So she was very famous from that. She hadn't done Ghost yet. She's just about to do Ghost.
Okay.
So still very famous though. But rounding out your celebrity trifecta is Dave Coulier.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty good get. And then I remembered, oh yeah, he was just there anyway. But then I thought, oh, it's kind of crazy that they have Dave Coulier on the show because he was pretty famous at the time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he is Full House famous. I don't know what their fame level was like then. Like, obviously, the show's been on for a couple of years, Full House has. So he must have been pretty famous. But yeah, I don't know if, was he having problems walking down the street? Like, how famous was Dave Coulier at this point?
Well, it ran till 95 and this was 90. So I would guess this was probably like the height of
pretty
its popularity.
Peak Full House.
Yeah. He does the cut it out thing and everything.
Of course he does. He does the cut it out. He does the Bullwinkle. He's Dave Coulier. He's got to do both of those things. We see Dave Coulier because Fozzie comes into the agent's office, tells a joke, and Gonzo signs him immediately to a contract that I'm sure isn't fair to Fozzie and will screw him over later in life. But he sets him up a stand-up routine at the Improv, and Dave Coulier is the comedian who introduces him. While Fozzie's performing, we cut to shots of Dave Coulier sitting in the crowd reacting poorly to these jokes, and for some reason, he has a carton of milk in front of him on the table. I'm guessing because they couldn't let him have a cocktail in a comedy club.
I thought maybe that was like a Dave Coulier inside joke or something.
As far as I know, no. I think they wanted to say, well, he's in a comedy club. He's got to be drinking something. But this is a baby show, so I guess he's going to drink a carton of milk.
According to the Los Angeles Times, Full House was the most popular series among ages 2 to 11 years old.
Take that, Muppet Babies.
You don't want to see that if you work on that. I don't know. Two is so young.
Why even especially when you're making Muppet Babies? Like, that's why they put Dave Coulier on this. He's a big hit with 2-year-olds.
No, Full House was the most.
That's what I'm saying.
Show. Oh,
this is a get. They took the 2-year-old's favorite TV star, Dave Coulier, and put him on this show to be like, maybe we can get some kids to watch Muppet Babies if we put Dave Coulier on it. They probably
are. They are thinking like, can we just like superimpose Dave Coulier's face onto baby animal? Is that possible?
What a terrifying image you just conjured. Well, during Fozzie's set, Gonzo recorded the audience and is like, hey, let's listen back to this. And what we hear is Scooter saying, boy, he sure can be a big pest, and Animal yelling, big pest.
Yep. And Baby Fozzie thinks it's him. Well, one thing is Baby Dave Coulier he introduces Baby Fozzie as Baby Fozzie, which to me is the final nail in the coffin of these are independent creatures. In the world, the Muppets exist and the Muppet Babies exist at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a Baby Mario situation.
I think you're right. But I think much like the idea of going outside of the house, they're never going to mention that.
No, but I think if
they're never going to see Miss Piggy on TV and be like, hold on, who's this?
But they've gone to the movies and seen themselves.
But that was an imagination sequence where they were imagining themselves as grown-ups making movies together.
These guys are fucked up.
But they've never been watching TV and just like seen live Kermit the Frog on Sesame Street or something.
That's why the TV was blurred out when Statler and Waldorf showed up, because it was playing a rerun of the Muppet Show, and that is forbidden in the facility.
Their favorite old movie is the Muppet movie.
Yeah. Oh, they're trying to reveal the truth to the Muppet Babies.
They're actually the heroes of this story.
Yeah. That's why they're being so inspirational and stuff. They feel okay. They feel bad because of how mean they were to the Muppets. So they decide, let's make baby Muppets and be nice to them, and we'll raise them right. Statler and Waldorf are saying this. So they fund the whole experiment. And now it's time for them to start introducing themselves into the Muppet Babies' life. And they're trying really hard to be nice, but they're still kind of like, I remember you fucking idiots.
What is their ultimate end goal here?
To make the Muppets funny. They don't think they're funny enough. They're trying to make funny Muppets.
Gotcha.
They're trying to bend them to be more in line with what they want out of entertainment.
This is a bit like in the early days of John and Hank's Vlogbrothers days. They were addressing the question of if you could, travel back in time, would you kill Hitler?
Mm-hmm.
And they came up with the concept of an evil baby orphanage.
Oh, yeah.
Where you would just keep all the evil babies.
Yeah.
Instead of having to off them. And this, I think, is what you're saying is Statler and Waldorf are essentially making an evil baby orphanage.
They've made
an
unfunny baby orphanage.
But they're also making clones to try and improve upon.
Yes. It's like
babies.
The ultimate. Okay. And it's like the ultimate heckle of Fozzie. Because they're going to be like, they're going to go to Muppet Theater one day. And they're going to be like, hey, Bear, guess what? And then they're going to bring out their own Fozzie. And he's going to have the funniest set anybody's ever heard of comedy of all time. And they're going to be like, see, we told you weren't funny.
Because these old men definitely know comedy. Well, yeah, we've talked about, this is clearly, we learned by the end of the episode that this is all actually secretly about Gonzo, what these people are saying on the tape. But throughout the episode, you do not know that. It's actually a well-hidden, mystery.
And I was suspecting it was about a bee or something like that,
That is the funnier part, is that if you're us and you're watching this episode, you're supposed to think it's about Fozzie, but in reality, you're like, surely this must be about something else.
Yeah.
And to find out that it's actually just about a different baby is way funnier.
Like they're watching TV and it's about, I don't know.
Or there was a bug in the room and Scooter's like, look at that big pest. But Fozzie's just extremely sad from now until pretty much the end of the episode. So Gonzo tries to cheer him up, reading him a review saying Fozzie is as funny as a sour lemon. He pulls out a lemon, takes a bite, and he's like, oh, that's not very funny. And again, remembering that all of this is in Gonzo's imagination makes it even funnier.
He's being even meaner to Fozzie.
He can't even imagine Fozzie being good at comedy.
And he's the best imaginer of all the babies.
So Gonzo tries to teach Fozzie a lesson about not caring what other people think, which is going pretty well until Gonzo says, but we do have to do something about your jokes because they really stink.
Which is fair, yeah.
Don't care what people think, but I will tell you, you suck.
Yeah, and there's a certain element of the art of comedy that is a little bit more, like if you paint a painting, it can suck a little bit. And sometimes people will look at the painting and be like, oh, that's really interesting.
I like the way this sucks.
But you have to make some people laugh when you're telling jokes.
Well, don't worry, Sam, because he's going to Acme University. Oh, wait, sorry. He's going to UCLA, the University of Comedy and Laughable Antics.
But Tiny Toons didn't debut until this year. So it is parallel thinking. But I was kind of like, wait a minute. My antennas went up.
He's going to a university for comedy where famous comedians are going to teach at the school.
Yeah. It was almost that's where they got the idea. But maybe one of these guys talked to somebody who worked on Tiny Toons.
Or they also worked on Tiny Toons. A lot of these guys write on multiple shows.
Yeah. They probably heard about Tiny Toons and then they probably said, fuck, we should have just made a show about baby Muppets who are learning from the adult Muppets. We shouldn't have made creepy
Tiny Toons
baby
is so much
Muppets.
better.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Jeffrey Scott doesn't have any Tiny Toons credits, so he can't directly be blamed. But this is a 2-minute scene that feels like it's 10 minutes long, where they learn pie throwing from the Three Stooges, or as Jeffrey Scott likes to say, Grandpa.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, you're right.
He wrote his grandpa into a script of Muppet Babies.
That's so weird.
Do you love me now, Grandpa?
Was it Mo? Mo was his?
Yeah, he was definitely dead by this time.
Mo Howard. Oh, he was the mean one, too. He died in 1975, yeah. What a scary guy to have as your grandpa.
Yeah.
You think you're going to bop you on the head.
He has like a bowl cut, so you're kind of like, come on, Grandpa. You can't really...
He pokes you in the eye.
but really hard. You forgot it was all comedy.
Whoa, Shimp's real name was Samuel. Should I start going by Shimp?
Yes. 1,000%.
I think I might. Well, I'll consider it. We'll make a poll in the Discord.
Well, Gonzo does keep annoying people throughout this. He interrupts Rolf, who's singing a song to Kermit and Piggy, mostly just about Kermit and how great he is, which is interesting. But Gonzo interrupts to be like, hey, everyone, it's time once again for the greatest comic since Marvel #1, Fozzie Bear. This once again ends after Fozzie tells a bunch of bad jokes and Animal chases him off with a horn, just saying, bad joke, bad joke. But during that set, Gonzo once again used the audio recorder, tells Fozzie, an artist should never listen to his critics. But let's listen to this tape. And we get Rolf saying, boy, talk about nerve. Kermit saying, he sure knows how to ruin a fun time. And Piggy saying, he's such a nitwit.
They fucking hate this guy.
Yeah, but not the guy you think.
No, but still, they can't. This is not right.
Yeah, because Fozzie's reaction to hearing this is, gee, maybe they don't like me. And he tells Gonzo that he's his only friend. And this feels like suddenly part of an episode that could have been better.
Right.
And like more of a life lesson episode than it actually is.
I think it's kind of an interesting conclusion that is drawn from this. I don't think it's a good life lesson, but it is like a little bit of like, so Fozzie's sad, and basically Gonzo's like, use that, baby. Like, put
Precisely.
yourself. Yeah.
That's so weird that it does turn that way. But before we get there, we get some even weirder stuff along the way, because Gonzo tries to reassure him and is like, you know what? I'm going to go talk to our friends, secretly record them.
Oh, yeah, right.
To see what they really think about you. And so he goes to Scooter and is like, hey, if you had to do a really hard algorithm problem, would you use your computer or would you use Fozzie?
Stupid question.
Of course, Scooter says, I'd pick my computer over Fozzie any day, which is the only part that Gonzo records is that line. He asks Piggy, if Fozzie was sinking in quicksand and you had your prettiest dress on, would you jump in to save him? And the recording he gets from Piggy is, he's so annoying some days I wish he'd just go live in a tree. So we get a song here, which is...
Words hurt. Words
like
hurt.
Almost a Sesame Street kind of song.
Yeah.
It's so earnest and actually trying to teach kids
Has
something.
a little bit of advice in it. It says, think about what you say before you say it.
It's a really sad Fozzie song where he's basically walking around like a junkyard of letters. And it says, yeah, you'd like to say a nice word, but a bad one pushes through and you realize too late how much damage words can do. And you're like, geez, what is happening on this show right now?
He's having a dark night of the soul.
But also a little bit felt like Jeffrey Scott sending a message through time to us specifically.
Oh, shoot. You're right, Matt.
Being
We're
like,
sorry.
You guys are dicks. Words can hurt. Stop talking about me on your show.
He's going to send Thetans after us or whatever. We're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. Yeah. He does have, an army of people, I guess.
We're
to send after
NPs.
us. What is that?
Negative people.
Oh,
That's
that
what you're
sounds
supposed
right.
to. That's what you're supposed to cut out of your life. Yeah, that does sound about right.
Yeah, well, tune in for the next episode of Where's Shelly, Nanny? But yes, after that song, Fozzie says an actual joke to Gonzo, which Gonzo latches onto because Fozzie says he's the only comedian in the world who could make a laughing hyena cry. And Gonzo says, wait a minute. If you're yourself, you can be funny. You are feeling hurt. Go with the hurt. Say what you feel. And so Gonzo sets up another stand-up gig in the nursery. And what this led to, I thought, was going to be like self-deprecating humor. Because the joke that Gonzo latched onto was, I could make a laughing hyena cry.
Yeah, and if you come out and been like, I'm so unfunny. How unfunny are you? Yes, that would have been good, actually.
Mm-hmm. But instead, his first joke is, did you hear the one about the dumb dog called Rolf? He could never be a computer programmer because his bark is bigger than his bite.
Which Scooter fucking loves.
The funniest part of this is that every time he does these insult jokes to the babies, all the other babies are rolling on the ground laughing.
Yeah, you learn such the wrong lesson from this because,
even after they get a joke told about them and they're insulted, the next joke about a different baby, they're like, oh, but that is actually hilarious.
Kermit especially is like, that's not funny. With the throat in his frog joke. And then, and then is clearly in full camera view cracking up when he's making fun of this piggy next time.
my favorite part is that Gonzo, after the Rolf joke kills, Gonzo plays the tape recorder in Fozzie's ear of Scooter
Yes.
saying he's a pest, and it's
Yeah.
like, get him.
It's like Palpatine.
Yeah.
It's like-
Yeah. It's like, embrace your anger, give yourself over to hate. But his joke is, Scooter's such a nerd. When he went to the football game, he thought a quarterback was what you get back when you give $1 to the Peanut Man.
What's not really a nerd thing, but okay.
The best part of that, though, Sam,
Yeah.
when everyone's laughing, Scooter says, well, it was an honest mistake,
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's really cute.
which means that really happened.
Wow. So that does mean that they actually did get to go to a baseball game.
Football, Sam, you nerd.
Oh, sorry. A football game.
You fucking dork.
Sorry.
But then, of course, the meanest joke is reserved for the pig in the room. As Fozzie says, remember the nursery rhyme about the little piggies? Well, do you know why this little piggy had none? Because that little piggy ate all the roast beef, everything at the market, and everything at home. But everyone else is laughing their asses off, including Rolf, who Piggy turns on quickly and is like, laugh your head off, bone brain. And they all start to fight until Nanny comes in to be like, whoa, what is going on in here?
But there's never a moment where they're like, don't tell me jokes about your friends. That they just let slide. Like,
Mhm.
like
No, it's
there's
what they get in trouble for and what they actually apologize for is the name calling at the end.
right.
Because when Nanny catches them, like Gonzo reveals the recording and says, hey, everyone, I was recording what you said. And everyone's like, we weren't mad at Fozzie. We were mad at you. Then they all have this realization moment where they're like, well, I guess we all said some mean stuff. And Piggy apologizes to Kermit.
Uh-huh.
And they're all like saying sorry to each other. But not a single person says, we shouldn't have said those things about Gonzo.
Yeah. Even like Nanny's like standing there and everybody's just like, but it tracks for him. It's
Right.
okay.
It sort of like justifies it as like, whoa, guys, you can't say mean things about Fozzie. And they're like, oh, no, sorry, Nanny, we didn't. We said him about Gonzo. And she's like, oh,
Okay.
that's cool.
Yeah, that guy's annoying.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to my laundry or whatever. Have fun.
What a crazy ending when it would be so easy. It would be so easy to either make an episode that's don't say mean jokes about your friends,
Mhm.
or make an episode that's like, we were talking about this bug that's flying around the room the whole time.
Yeah.
But no, it is Gonzo sucks.
Yeah.
Which
we're
he
allowed
is
to
a-
be mean to one baby.
He does be a sex pest in this briefly, and he's like, I could be your agent, Piggy, and like
Yeah.
smooches her toes.
He's like, I could take
So-
10%. She's like, 10% of what? And he's like, 10% of your hands, 10% of your arms, 10% of your feet.
Yeah. This version of Gonzo is Jeffrey
wonder
Scott.
why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a Jeffrey Scott Gonzo.
But
Crazy
it's
episode, but kind of a fun one.
also wild that they're trying to say that, like, we don't dislike you, Fozzie. But one of the things they say is, we don't dislike you. We just dislike that Gonzo made us listen to you.
Yeah, one of the things is like he made us listen to Fozzie's bad jokes.
Yeah, like that is still definitely about Fozzie more than it's
Yeah.
about Gonzo.
Yeah, we hate Gonzo, and we hate you when you're hanging out with Gonzo,
we hate Gonzo, and we hate that Gonzo makes us look at
and
you.
we think you're not funny. Yeah,
Yeah, you're easier to ignore than Gonzo, which is a compliment.
Yeah.
Take it and run with it.
you're sad. Gonzo's very confident, which makes him more annoying.
Yeah, we can just push you away.
Ignore you.
There's an episode like this though in the 2015 Muppets series where Fozzie is a bad comedian, but he starts telling jokes about his girlfriend, played by Ricky Lindholm.
Oh yes, and they're really funny.
Yeah, and they're really funny. It's all about how she sweats a lot.
Right.
And everyone loves them. He becomes a much more successful comedian. But
Yeah.
of course, she doesn't love that.
That show should have been about those two. I love
Just
that
the
was
whole
such a
time?
funny dynamic. I think so.
Yeah.
It should have just been Alf, except
It should
Alf
have been
gets to
Alf with
date a
Fozzie.
human woman. Yeah.
I bet Alf dated a human at one point.
I bet he phone dated her. I think he did. I think there's a
Oh.
Halloween episode where he's like got a date with a lady and he's invited her over and they're like,
It has to be
"Alf,
Halloween.
what
He
are
has to
you
wear a
thinking?"
costume.
Yeah. Maybe he was always up. Maybe Halloween, like in like a modern Alf series, it would be like Alf gets to have sex once a year and it is on Halloween.
That's the first thing that's the rule in the pilot. They're like, all right, we have to establish some rules here, Alf. I don't know how trustworthy, obviously, a Google AI response is, but I typed in Alf date episode.
Uh-huh.
Boy, oh boy.
Okay.
The specific Alf episode where Alf goes on a date is titled Standing in the Shadows of Love. In this memorable season 3 episode, Alf meets a blind woman on a radio advice show and sneaks out of the house for a date with her.
He's like the Thing from
Exactly
the Fantastic
like the Thing.
Four.
So yes, he does get to date once, but she has to be blind, so she can't see that he's a weird alien rug.
Also, the Thing isn't tricking the woman into thinking he's not a big rock man. She just likes that he's a big rock man because he feels good.
Right. Whereas I'm sure in this, he does not say, oh, by the way, I'm an alien.
I genuinely gasped when you said that he dated a blind woman. Huh. I could have sworn there was one where there's a Halloween episode. I think maybe there's a Halloween episode and he gets to walk around. I do think that is a thing. And I think he's hitting on women, perhaps.
Yeah. Like maybe they have a Halloween party at the house or something.
Yeah.
You want to know something unsurprisingly wild, Sam? I don't know how much of what we just talked about is entirely true.
Okay.
Or that's at least not the right episode.
Oh, no, because he trusted AI.
Yeah. So I think there might be an Alf where he does date a blind woman.
There definitely is. Her name's Jody.
But that episode that I said, Standing in the Shadows of Love, is not that episode at all.
She's in 3 episodes. For your eyes only, we got to get out of this place and we are family.
For your eyes only. Really, Alf writers?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
She's in the first season.
Oh, Alf falls in love early.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get us off the Alf train.
And in the second season.
I'm going to try to get us off the Alf train and say, Sam, what non-Muppet things did you enjoy this week?
Oh, we're done. Great. I love it. I love it.
We all hate Gonzo. It's fine. We're moving on.
This is a really good unhinged batch, I thought. Bad. But anyway, what did I watched Supergirl. Did I talk about that yet?
You did not.
It was bad. I hate to say it because I did think it was just a smear campaign that people were saying it was bad, but it was actually quite bad.
That's a bummer.
There's a couple scenes where David Corenswet shows up, and those are great. It's like he's such a great guy, and like is such a great Superman, and she's a great Supergirl. It's not her fault. It's bad.
It's what's around her. Yeah.
Any of the actors' fault really that is bad. The bad guy's good. The kid she hangs out with is good. Jason Momoa is good. But it is genuinely one of the worst made movies I've ever. Like it's directed poorly. And it's written poorly in a way that's like so noticeable. And
it's always such a bummer when that happens, when you're like, okay, I can agree with you that it's bad.
Yeah.
But not for the reasons that a lot of people are saying it's bad.
Yes. Totally. That is, because it's like, nobody wants to see Supergirl. Yes, they do. People like Supergirl. People were excited to see her in the Superman movie. But unfortunately, was really extremely bad. So that's what and then I've been playing too much Pokopia again. I jumped back on the Pokopia train, but that's what I watched. How about you?
I started The Defenders, which is the next logical step after finishing
Speaking
Iron
of
Fist.
quality entertainment.
But in better streaming things, I watched the newest season of the Four Seasons. Tina Fey.
There's already a new season of that?
Yeah, they did a second season. It's very good. Still enjoy it. Very funny. Definitely for, 30 to 50 somethings. I don't know that 20 somethings are going to get much out of that show, but it is very fun.
Okay.
But the other thing I've mostly been listening to this week was the podcast Fela Kuti, Fear No Man, which, for those that don't know, is a Jad Abumrad podcast from last year that is about a Nigerian musician named Fela Kuti, who I didn't know anything about at all before this, but is just a fascinating figure and complicated, as many historical figures are. But it's like 13 episodes of the podcast, and I would encourage people to go check it out because it's really interesting.
Cool. Never heard of it, but
yeah,
I've been thinking I need to listen to some smart podcasts. I only listen to stupid ones.
It's a very good documentary. Essentially, it's like an audiobook documentary with very good audio editing and lots of music throughout. And so you'll learn a lot, but you also get to hear some fun music. And yeah, I think it's like one of those where you if you don't know a lot about, Nigerian politics or the history of, human rights and things over there, I think you'll just learn a lot about that as you listen to it.
We're going to both start listening to smart podcasts, and then this podcast will get smart. What do you think about that?
Do we still have to talk about Muppet Babies, though? Just in a smarter way?
Yeah, just in like an intellectual. And we'll play we'll have like bed music and stuff like that. And we'll be like, what is a Muppet? It'll take you 12
hours to edit every episode.
Yeah. What is a Muppet Baby? Today, we go behind the scenes.
Today we're here to confront Jeffrey Scott.
That would be good, actually. We need to figure some stuff out about that guy.
Yeah. We're going to become a really confrontational podcast. We're only going to have people on that we've talked shit about before.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I've thought about it.
Send them the stuff we said about them and be like,
what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Well, I got to let you know what we're watching next time. And this is why Sam will get mad at me, because we need to catch up on a few things that we have found before we truly dive headfirst into the 1990s.
These ones are fun, though. That's okay. Maybe.
Yeah,
let's hear what it is.
It's a weird, shorter list, which, isn't a problem. So we don't spend 3 hours talking about Muppet Babies next week. But we will be checking
out. You want
to
bet, my friend? We're going to spend 3 hours.
If we do, I will be incredibly impressed, because what we have to watch is 2 Jimmy, Dean, and Rolf segments that I've dug up, and the half-hour version, the full version of the Muppet Puppet Plays from 1969.
Oh, that's why you posted that blue sky of Jim going.
Yeah. Something we were only able to watch a few minutes of way back in episode 6 of this podcast.
We were babies then, and you didn't have a baby.
No, far from it. But we did not have the full half hour of that to watch, but recently came across that. So I figured we would watch the full half hour of that, because it's got a really interesting energy where it basically feels like they turned the camera on and told Jim and Frank, you have a half hour, go. And so they have like live streamer energy.
Cool.
Like where they're just kind of having to do the stuff and then quickly like move on to the next thing and not really have time to like cut or change sets and do a lot in between.
I liked Muppets on Puppets, but it was not like that.
No, this feels more, I don't know, a little bit freer and like just more like public access.
Cool.
So we'll watch that, and we'll watch the Jimmy, Dean, and Rolf segments that we can dig up.
And we'll have a normal length episode for once in our lives.
I mean, no promises, but I really hope so, because I don't know how we would make that 3 hours of a podcast. Well, we got to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast, and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Don't forget to go to commitment.com for all commitment needs. And while you're there, or anywhere else you're listening to this podcast, leave a comment, leave a like, leave a review, let people know about us. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at mail@commitment.com or follow us on the internet at commitmentpod or at commitment.com on Blue Sky. And you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.